Cool. Let's double check. All right. All right. So, how do I invite? There's the button. Copy. Cool. Double check. This is my first time doing anything like this. All right, we're going to put this link on Twitter. Going to put this up on Twitter real quick. Live with @Rob loves JC on my new YouTube channel. I see you, Rob. Give me 2 minutes. YouTube channel. Tear your hair out. Come out with us as we talk. All selection. Evolution. Copy paste. Done and done. Post. Dope. Hold on. Let me add to stage. Yo, what's up, brother?
Oh, not too much. I saw my buddy took me out to see Godzilla versus King Kong tonight.
Oh, how was it?
It was ridiculous in all the right ways.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear, man.
It was so, but so my synopsis in a one sentence would be it had a really good storyline, but it was just so over the top that it was still absurd. But that's what you expected.
Of course,
I mean,
it's a Godzilla movie, man.
Pardon?
It's a Godzilla movie. That's what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, it was literally Clash of the Titans, like mythologically.
Oh, dope. So what's up, man? How you been today?
Good. Like I've had a really chill day, and I've been enjoying myself, and
that's good.
I'm doing what I don't almost ever do, which is I didn't do any martial arts, and I did like minimal apologetics, and I just relaxed all day, which is very unlike me.
Oh, but so you're well rested. That's good.
Yeah, but it was exactly what I needed.
Good. I'm happy to hear that, man. You'll never guess what I just was doing.
No, tell me.
Believe it or not, I happen to be a part of a men's group out of a local church in my area, and I get invited to bonfires once a month, which is really, really cool.
It's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No,
it's good to talk to
you. I honestly did not expect you to say that.
It's really funny. I happened to run into this guy while I was out in the mountains at a nature preserve that we have nearby testing a firearm. Mm-hmm. And he happened to be with a bunch of other guys from the church. And they were out shooting clays with shotguns. And I was like, oh, man, that's cool. And we got into talking, and I got in on their bracket or whatever. We had a fun time. I was like, hey, man, why don't you come by the church? I was like, oh, I'm not really religious. He's like, man, we don't care. Come on, just hang out. It's a men's thing. It's not like a God thing. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. So last month I went and I tested the waters, and everybody was really chill, and this month was really nice. We had some good conversations, and it's not, like he said, it's not a religious thing. It's a men thing. Yeah, being able to talk with other men and relate with other men in a world that sometimes doesn't really care too much about us is really, really cool.
You said something that I thought you said. I got to talking, like Ken got to talking. No shit.
Right? I never do that, Rob. Me talking?
Never. No. It must be a different Ken. It must be a different Ken in the alternate universe.
Exactly. It's a different guy, man. You've got it's some doppelganger out there who just likes
everyone's I don't know if any doppelganger could be as handsome and intelligent as you at the same time.
Oh, Rob, you flatter me. Thank you.
But I speak truthfully. I
never thought I'd hear you call me intelligent. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I have.
I might be confusing it with all the times you called me stupid.
I don't remember calling you stupid.
I remember it a couple of times. It's okay though. I forgive you.
All right. Well,
I forgive you.
All right. I'll go and sin no more.
There you go. That's a good attitude.
No, the Bible calls you a fool, but that's not the same thing as being stupid. Because you can be intelligent and be a fool, but you can't be stupid and intelligent. That's contradictory.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's not a bad way to look at it. This is the first time I'm going live on my new channel, man. It's the first time I've been live on any channel.
I'm your first guest on your channel.
You're my first guest, Rob. I'm honored to have you. I wouldn't have wanted anyone else, Rob.
Okay, so you're no longer a StreamYard virgin.
No, definitely not. I'm well experienced. All right, all of my.
I mean, like on this side of it, you're not a StreamYard virgin as a host anymore.
All of my nooks and crannies are well oiled, Rob. It's all good.
TMI, man. TMI.
That's why I like you, Rob. You're a good guest. I really appreciate that. I hope we have a nice and productive continuation of our discussion from last night. Right. And great, my camera's acting up already. This is awful.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Well, hopefully there it is.
Oop,
there it is. Oop, there it is.
Gotta have some fun, right, brother?
Exactly. That's what we're about on Tear Your Hair Out.
That's why that's one of the things I do like about conversing with you is like we can bust each other's chops and laugh like kids, and it's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's
because like most atheists or agnostics I talk to, it's like it's almost impossible to crack them up. Like they're so serious.
Yeah, I feel like too many people come at this from like a serious, like combative mentality where we're here to we're here to fight and we're here to fight for our truth. And it's like, nah, man, let's just have a conversation. Let's talk, right? Let's ask questions.
You have it. Nice. I like that you have the tag that we're doing this already on Twitter.
Yeah, man. I wanted to get that done first thing.
You're being quite professional, my friend. I like this.
You know, it's a new channel. I got to get the word out.
Yeah, and you can see like I'm trying to get my
the microphone. Hell yeah. I should move my mic here just so I can make sure everybody can hear me. Because that was the one thing that I had on the other live stream where I reviewed your debate or your conversation rather with Peter. That my mic levels were all over the place. So hopefully StreamYard doesn't do me dirty.
It's funny, like every time I do a conversation or stream like with you or Peter, people are like, "How can I join the debate?" I'm like, "This isn't a debate. This is a conversation."
Yeah, exactly.
Like I think the people think that just because you have a contrary ideology means everything is going to be combative.
Right.
Just on the face
of it. Hey, Peter! Dumpster Fires is in the chat. What's good, dude? Oh, it's good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. I was scared nobody was going to see the tweet.
No, Rob is the first guest, and I'm the first viewer. Wow, everything is lining up.
Everything is falling into. Oh yeah, it's
almost like it was divinely appointed.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I know. I just I had to say something.
You know what? I'll leave the divine interpretation to you. I'll leave you to read the tea leaves. I think you're the expert here on that.
Well, I don't want that.
What? You're the only religious guy here. That's cheating. That's cheating. You can't.
Everyone's religious. It's a matter of what religion we adopt.
Interesting. What makes you say that, Rob?
Well, because everyone has an epistemology, a philosophy, an ideology, and a worldview on which we ground.
But are those things all religious?
No, those things aren't necessarily all religious, but they make us religious by nature. If you combine them, I would say. Because in order for us to function in the world, first of all, we have to be moral agents. Secondly, we have to think logically, and we have to make sense of the world we live in. And in order to do that, we have to have some sense of religiosity built within us, even if we don't claim to be religious.
What is religiosity, Rob? What does that mean? What does that entail?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that just means you can't function without adopting some kind of religious narrative from a degree.
Interesting.
That's what.
So what do you think my religious narrative is? Because I would posit that I don't have any religious beliefs.
Right. I would.
Hold on. Peter's in here having a fucking laugh, man. He's in here taking the piss. That's great.
I know.
I appreciate you, Peter. I love you.
I just use multiple accounts to get around.
Yeah, but I've unblocked you, Peter, so it's all good, brother.
All right, yeah, we're all friends here now. We're all friends, right, Rob?
Are we though?
I would like to think that you're my friend, Rob.
No,
I think we've
agree.
established a very friendly relationship here. I think I've proven to you that I'm not your enemy. Right?
No, you're not. I only have one enemy, and I only have time for him and no other.
Fair enough. You know, I have one enemy too, Rob.
Who's that?
Suffering.
Suffering is your enemy.
Suffering is my enemy, Rob. I wish to alleviate suffering wherever I can and however I can.
Okay.
Most of the times I can't, but when I can, I try to. Oh, hello, Jesus Christ! Thank you for showing up for moral support, Rob. Your man is here. The big JC is here, man.
Oh, this is just too rich.
He has risen, and he is in my chat, bro. Jesus showed up to my chat.
Christianity has been proven in like under 12 minutes.
Wow, what amazing evidence! It's
overwhelming, right?
Reminds me of that one Arthur clip. Oh, you really think somebody would do that? Go on the internet and tell lies?
No, never.
J-Man, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for dropping by.
Do you watch Family Guy at all?
I do not partake of the Talking Dog show.
Okay, well, I used to watch it like years ago. We're talking like between 15 and 20 years ago. And one of the episodes I just have to remember was like the founding fathers were like they had the documents for the Constitution for America, right? And they were like Second Amendment, First Amendment speech. Or like they all look at each other as like no one's going to take this out of context, right?
What's the meme about men with a time machine? He goes back to the founding. No, write it like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah. No, that's literally they said. They had like the First and Second Amendment drafted, and they had the whole thing, but they were just like kind of like just mulling over the First and Second Amendment more or less before they like all signed it. They kind of like they all looked at each other like no one's going to take this out of context, right? They're like nah. So, anyways, it was just hilarious because like obviously that has been taken out of context.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I think it's just that as language evolves and as the priorities of society, of American society, have changed, I think it's caused some people to look back at it and try to read it into a different context. But it's very important to look at it in the context that it was written, right? Just like the Bible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to take it in its historical context.
So the Bible is multi-layered in terms of context, and I'll explain that. So the Bible has a historical context for the time in which it was written, but it also has context that fits our modern day era applicably. For example,
I definitely think you can interpret it as being applicable to the modern day.
Well, let me give you just one quick example of that.
Sure.
Okay, so the Bible says, "Thou shalt not murder," but I understand murder as the unjustified taking of life. Not all taking of life is unjustified.
Of course not.
Okay.
Sorry, I dropped my drugs.
So in other words, like for example, three examples I'll give you quickly that are justified taking of life. Someone tries to kill me unprovoked. I can justly defend myself and take someone's life if they try to kill me unprovoked.
Sure.
And second is if someone attacks a police officer unprovoked, then they have the legal authority as just a regular person to kill someone who's trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Because they represent the state. Third is the army. If you attack the army unprovoked for no reason, the army has the right to legally take you out.
I think these are all like specific. This is a policy issue. This This channel is not about politics.
I'm just saying morally, if the thing or organization is attacked unprovoked, then the thing, person, or organization has the right to take you out in defense.
Of course, you have the right to use proportional force to protect yourself from a threat, right?
Yeah.
If a threat is using X amount of force, you can use that amount of force back, right? If that's a mortal threat, then you can use lethal force. It's very true, Rob. But
yeah, so that's my
I think it's time that we jump right back into our conversation from last night. What do you think?
Okay, can I mute for like 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, take your time, man.
My brother Sean just calling me on my birthday, so I just want.
Oh, that's right. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Rob. Holy shit. Yeah, take all the time you need, man. I'll talk to the audience here for a minute.
All right, I'm just gonna put my camera. I'm just gonna mute myself and put.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Do what you got to do. For those of you who have not seen anything about me or Rob, I'll start with myself. My name is Kem Redgick. I am a Second Amendment. What would be the word? I'm an activist. I do a lot of political commentary. I'm a published writer in the space. But recently I've taken to talking with religious folk. Personally, just a quick backstory about what I'm about. I walked away from the Catholic Church when I was about 10 years old. And I've been, thank you guys for the happy birthdays for Rob. That's so nice of you guys. I'll show them to him when he gets back if he hasn't seen them already. But I've been a non-believer, an unaligned individual for many, many years now. And it's only been as I've grown up that I educated myself on these topics, and I've become very, very interested and invested in talking to other people who have different perspectives than me and trying to understand their worldview. And it just so happens that Rob came across my YouTube recommended feed a few months ago, and I felt, no, you forgot about JC, man. Big JC is in here. What are you talking about? We can't leave the J man out of it. Look, he's right here. Jesus Christ says happy birthday to Rob. That's amazing. He got a happy birthday from the Lord and Savior himself. That's so good. That's so awesome. Where was I? I have started to talk to Rob. I made a video about him discussing his bad faith argumentation when referring to atheists, and I hopped on his live one day and decided that it was just too much fun. We had a really great time, a really productive conversation, and over the last couple of weeks, we've just been really hitting it off and talking about various topics. Last night, I was on his channel talking. Peter, what are you doing? You can't be cosplaying as Jesus Christ, man. That's like a sin. I'm sure that's a sin, man. Anyway, so it's been really, really fun getting to talk to Rob and trying to understand his worldview. Rob is and I'm sure he'll be able to tell you, he is a Reformed Pentecostal, young Earth creationist. So he believes in a literal interpretation of he believes in a literal interpretation of Genesis, of creation. More specifically, he adheres to the Ken Ham Baraminic model, created kinds. The idea that somewhere 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, God created all of the life on Earth, all of the biota, plant and animal that we see here on Earth as we see them today. He fundamentally rejects the position of evolution via natural selection. And I guess as a corollary, he must also reject the stellar formation, the formation of the planet, most of astrophysics as we understand it. But last night we were having a fantastic conversation about natural selection, and we were just getting into the weeds about the similarities between humans and chimpanzees, which those of us who are skeptically minded, those of us who have read the research understand they are our closest living relatives. It was a fantastic conversation, and unfortunately got cut short because we were two hours into the conversation. It was getting late for Rob. He happens to live in Canada, and I guess they have different rules out there for how late you can be out. So we had to cut it short, but I told him, hey, we need to finish this conversation tomorrow. He said, hell yeah. And I decided to jump on the very first live here on my channel to see if we can't finish that conversation about human-chimpanzee relations. That's the wrong way to say that. Oh boy, how we and chimpanzees are related to each other, and our last common ancestor is a sort of stepping off point to talk about natural selection and the origins of life and the origin of the diversity of species that we find here on Earth, the diversity of biota, on this wonderful little wet speck of dust that we call home. And hopefully, as soon as he's back on camera, we'll be able to continue that conversation. It's been a lot of fun talking to him, and a lot of fun interacting with some of his brothers in faith, I guess. Another gentleman I spoke to is Gary from Fort Worth Crosstalk, who unfortunately, and I can't imagine why, has been banned from YouTube. So he's on Rumble now. I have I have a clip that I I uploaded the other night of him running from a conversation because he felt it was objectionable that I said that math is scientific when used in a scientific context. He thought that was ridiculous. It was further compounded by my insistence that peer review is a part of the scientific method, because how else are we supposed to check each other and check ourselves for small little mistakes that sometimes we overlook. But he decided that those two were absolutely beyond the pale, unacceptable statements to make in his presence. And so he decided to no longer grace ourselves with that presence the other day. And you can find that clip in my highlights of the many streams I've done with Rob. You can find that on my channel, Tear Your Hair Out. And hair is spelled like the animal, so Hare. It's a very brand new YouTube channel that I've made. I've separated it from all of my political comments and commentary and gun stuff, because I want to be able to have a dedicated place for these important conversations about these very important topics. And they are the most important conversations that we can have as people when we talk about our foundational beliefs and the way that we structure our reality and that we understand reality to be structured. I think it's really, really important that we meet each other on a level playing field as fellow human beings with kindness and respect and in good faith. I have the unfortunate experience of having spoken to a lot of Christians and a number of atheists who don't seem to care about that, don't seem to care about the human connection, the human relationship, being able to speak to people respectfully and kindly, and understanding that they all have reasons to believe what they believe. And the key is analyzing what those reasons are and if those reasons are reasonable reasons to believe. So I'm hoping that we can make a little bit more progress here with Rob, because I do want to help him. He's a nice guy. He's a great guy. We have a great time. We laugh quite a bit, as you heard. He likes to crack jokes on stream, and he's not too bad at it either. But I hope this is a good place to start with these conversations. So hopefully by the time he gets back, we'll be able to continue that. There's a lot of dead air here, unfortunately. Peter, hop in my DMs if you want to get in here, man. I can send you the link. Hold on. If you want to hop in on this and just listen in. I've just sent you it on Twitter if you want to hop in. But man, I'm so excited to be doing this, honestly. I never thought I'd be doing this, but the encouragement and the feedback, the positive feedback I received from several people in the community has been amazing, and I'm really, really grateful for that. It's been really cool to step into a room with people I grew up watching, and have them turn around and be like, "Hey, man, that's cool. Do that again." So I've decided to pursue it as much as I can. Unfortunately, I can't do it full time. But I'm here when and how I can be, which is on this channel. And hopefully this goes well. I really hope this goes well. I hope we have a nice productive conversation with Rob, and we can maybe explain where we're coming from, and maybe we can understand where he's coming from. I've got a glass of water here in my drogas, which is legal. It's legal stuff. No, nothing illegal on the stream, folks. Nothing illegal. It's this weird Delta stuff. I'm not a huge fan of, unfortunately, but whatever. It's what we got. Oh, I hate it when it gets clogged. Unfortunately, these in the little stem here, you really got to pull on it. Rob, you're back.
Damn.
I was just talking good on you, Rob. I hope you appreciate that.
I do. I have to take your word for it, because
you don't have to take my word for it, brother. You can roll back the tape when we're done, and you can see all the good I've been talking about you.
That's true.
All right,
If
so
you're talking shit about me, yeah, you can. I'm just
I'm not going to talk shit about you, Rob. That's the one thing I'm not going to do. I may make fun of the things you say.
I will just say
I may poke holes in the things you believe, but I'm never going to talk shit about you because you're.
I'll just say on the face of it, whoever watches this, Kem has never talked shit about me ever.
I'd say Scout's honor if I had been a Boy Scout, but
yeah.
Oh,
you have to be a man first.
You know who I do talk shit about is Gary, your friend Gary. And I don't know if you've seen. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the clip that I uploaded the other night of him running from the conversation we were having, because it seemed like he was really, really upset that I said that math was scientific when used.
Oh no, he wasn't upset. He just thought that was so ridiculous that he was just done.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't know that I have any respect for that. If you can't engage with ideas, even if they sound ridiculous, and again, respectfully, I think that the young Earth creationist point of view is ridiculous on the face of it. But that doesn't mean I can't engage with it respectfully and kindly, and that doesn't mean that I can't treat you with respect as a fellow interlocutor.
No,
right, and I can't. When you come to a forum and you present an idea, I'm going to take that seriously. I'm not going to sit here and laugh at you to your face, and I'm not gonna say that, that it's this is ridiculous. I don't have time for this. I don't need to deal with it. No, man. We're not about that. All ideas deserve to be heard, and we all deserve to be heard out. Right? I'm going to hear you out. We're gonna have a conversation about it.
I'll just say to each their own. I mean, everyone has the right to decide how they want to interact. I'll say that.
That's fair. I respect that. But anyway, moving on and moving forward, Rob, we were talking about natural selection yesterday.
Right.
Natural selection.
Yeah, I noticed that you had a very specific title for this broadcast.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to finish the conversation. I was so upset that we couldn't finish it, but of course it was late. And
the broadcast has been going on for 2 hours.
Yeah, for 2 hours, man. Hopefully we don't go that long. Of course, I'm here till the fire goes out.
Long-winded.
You and me both.
So I think I'm a little more succinct than you, brother.
Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
The fans will have to decide, man. The audience will have to decide that one.
And I listen more when I'm not talking.
Okay, we'll see about that. So. Excuse me, Rob. If I remember correctly, we were talking yesterday about the relation between chimpanzees and human beings, and I think we were just getting to the point about I was sort of trying to illustrate using the example of the family tree, right?
No,
and I had used the example of your second cousin. You share. I misspoke. I should have said great grandparent because you and your first cousin share a grandparent, right? And I was trying to illustrate the family tree of life, if you will, the tree of life.
Right.
As we go up, we see those connections being made, right? Not human beings in the modern day, right? Because human beings, Homo sapiens, have existed on this planet for many, many, many years. For hundreds of thousands of years at the very least. Those are some of the oldest skeletons of the Homo group, which I think I mentioned to you in an earlier discussion.
Yeah.
I think I had just finished making that illustration for you, and you were about to make a point, and then we had to cut it off. So I'd like to.
I'm also equally I'm equally trolling a thread that I have going on at Twitter.
Okay.
Oh, I should. Oh yeah. Do you know what? I'll be a fair and I'll share it.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, but you have to pull it up though.
Oh wait. Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about my Twitter thing. Okay, hold on. What's going on?
Nope. Oh, someone was. Let's see if I can get this right here. There we go.
Sola Scriptura. See, this is a topic that I'm not super well versed on because, of course, this is a more theological.
Yeah. So I used the meme to because I didn't have time, right? This is the meme I used.
Oh yeah.
And someone said, "Oh, your only retort is a meme. Come on, you can do better than that. Prove me wrong without circular reasoning."
Yeah, see, Rob, this is what I mean. Like, you have to be able to have conversations with people.
Well, and the thing is, Kim, I don't always have time for conversation.
Well, if you don't have time, then respond to it later, Rob. But you don't need to be dismissive with the meme. You know, I do that sometimes. I see stuff that you post, and I'm like, oh man, I really want to respond to this, but I don't have the time. Right? I'm doing something else.
So I just use a meme to deflect, and I usually get back to it later.
Yeah, but you see how that can put people off sometimes.
Yeah, obviously put this guy off.
And we want to avoid that, man. We want to be nice to people.
Yeah,
but anyway,
the thing is but I also try to use the meme to like lighten the mood, right? Like I'm being obviously obnoxious, but I'm trying to use humor.
Yeah, and I don't know that being obnoxious lightens the mood, Rob. Not everybody. Listen, I appreciate sometimes when you can be a little cheeky, right? Yeah. And I know that you're taking the piss, but not everybody can tell on Twitter, man. You know, that kind of stuff doesn't carry over through text.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, like, I'm thick-skinned, man. I can handle just about anything. Someone throws at me. So.
Yeah, I sent you a StreamYard link on. Oh no, I sent you. My bad. Hold on, I sent you the YouTube link. I'm stupid. Hold on, let me copy.
You made a mistake. That doesn't make you stupid.
I'm so sorry, Peter. I'm so sorry. There's the StreamYard link, brother. Anyway. So, Rob, I was going to give you a chance to respond to the family tree analogy. What do you think about that?
Well, didn't we start? I think you asked me.
That was the last thing that I said to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to be more specific because like we're just jumping on like a topic that we had done like 24 hours ago.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that was the last thing that I had said to you about it. I was trying to.
Yeah, but I mean, like I don't have perfect recall, so you're gonna have to be a little more specific.
Sure. So let me, as soon as my camera decides to fix itself here.
Hey, is my shirt better?
There he is.
Is my shirt better today?
There he is.
There he is. What's up, Peter?
I should be sleeping, but I couldn't sleep.
Why aren't you?
And then
I appreciate you spending the final waking hours of the day with us, Peter. It's such a nice.
See how it is? If I invite him, it's like, oh, so I'm sorry, Robert, I have to go to sleep. But when Kim invites him, he's on like there.
Peter is a free agent, man. Peter is a free agent. I'm not putting a gun to his head.
It's just an observation. It's an observation. That's all it is.
Or maybe I am. Maybe I am putting a gun to Peter's head. Who knows? But Rob, so let me re-illustrate this for you. What's up, Peter?
You do have a frightening gun.
Oh, I have several frightening guns. And I got two more right here. Bam, bam! Anyway, so Rob, think of the family tree of life as a family tree in common parlance, right?
Sure.
So most species get maybe fourth or fifth cousin max, but chimpanzees are like second cousins to us. We're really closely related, and that's very much demonstrated in comparative genomics, where we see that 99.7% of our genome is similar. It's almost exactly the same. 99.7 is a huge number, right? And so when we trace these, hold on. So when we trace humans, right, back up the tree of life, we trace this, the fossil record. I had to find. I completely forgot what species it is, and you'll have to forgive me. I'll bring it up at some point. But we arrive at that species, and so do chimpanzees. That's what we call the last common ancestor, right? The splitting off point, where one line ended in chimpanzees millions of years later, and the other line ended in humans millions of years later, right? So, do you want to respond to that?
I was trying to say that I heard about the birthday comments, but that's all. I was trying to interrupt you for a second.
Oh, no worries. So would you like to respond to this point here now that I've reiterated it to you?
Sure. I still think that the commonalities don't prove a common ancestor, but a common designer. And I think it's still circular reasoning, and that begs the question to read that into the data.
So why do you think that it points to a common designer rather than common descent?
Because we have
common ancestry, rather.
Okay, because we have such distinct, obvious differences between us and chimps that it's almost bizarre and absurd to me to think that. I love it, Peter.
Nice, Peter. Nice.
I just find it really distracting.
So
squirrels.
It's interesting that I think I made this point previously, but I'll reiterate it, right? You say that humans and chimps are so vastly different, right?
Yes.
Vastly different enough to put us in different categories.
Yes.
Right? Despite that comparative genomics showing the 99.7% similarity between our DNAs, right? Between our genes.
Yeah.
So
would
you say that tigers and lions are just as different from each other as humans and chimps are?
I would say genetically they're much more different than humans and chimps are.
Okay, well, the genetics bears that out, right? 95.3% or 95.4%, right? Similar genetics. But you put those two in the same kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still sort of stuck on that. Why, despite them being less commonly related, less related to each other than we are to chimps, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put them in the same category, but you don't put us and chimps in the same category.
Correct.
Despite our our, like, even if you look at our skeletons, man, our skeletons are ape-like.
Yeah, that's not my point of contention with this issue.
Okay. So what is your point of contention, Rob?
My point of contention is, well, I mean, the obvious marked differences. I don't see chimps having courts of law. I don't see chimps being police officers. I don't see chimps being firefighters, engineers, IT guys, sumo wrestlers, martial artists, writers, authors, film producers, actors, so on and so forth. I don't.
Well, would it be reasonable to say that those things happen with humans because we have really big brains, and so we have lots of brain to do these things with?
Yeah, but my point, Kem, is that 0.3 difference obviously has made a huge difference in how we are different in the natural world.
Sure, and I would agree with you that difference is actually primarily in the brain, right? That humans were faced with a selection pressure that pushed them in the direction of a bigger brain case and then bigger brains. And so we have more brain power to do more things, right? I wouldn't disagree with you on that. But I would also point out that, for instance, our skeletons, that's a really, really great example. We look at other apes, right? And we see a lot of like structural similarity.
Okay, here's a question. What do humans and chimpanzees do that are the same?
It's not about what they do, Rob. It's about what they are.
I know that one. Go ahead,
Peter. Okay, go ahead, Peter. Let's hear it.
They communicate. They have a hierarchy in their group.
Social
and
structure.
both make tools.
This is true. Chimpanzees are tool using apes.
Yeah. What tools do they make, Peter?
They make stone tools.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, hammers and picks and stuff to dig bugs out of holes and out of trees to separate bark.
And if you recall, Rob, I did tell you about, and I forgot which kind of monkeys they are. In Indonesia, you've got entire criminal gangs, monkey gangs.
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
That have specified lookouts, that have scouts, that have people who run a robbery. Then you got the monkeys that go into the store and steal stuff. All of that is pre-planned, well organized. So,
and you know what? I think that specific example is so much stronger evidence for this conversation, Rob, because what is happening is that these apes, these chimps, I shouldn't say chimps, these apes are put in a new environment. And that new environment is one that's dominated by humans, right? And so that environment causes the selection pressure to act on the populations of other animals to adapt to their surroundings. And these apes have evolved, have been naturally selected for their ability to adapt to their environment. In this case, it's depending on or making or taking advantage of human societies and the plenty that we bring. How would you respond to that?
I think that there's still there's pressure, but this monkey criminal stuff that Peter's talking about is quite interesting and to be forthright, the first time I've heard about it.
It's the first time I've heard about it too. I mean, we've all seen videos of like, monkeys in Indonesia or whatever stealing food from people, right? Like that's a normal thing.
This is completely organized. This is an entire group raiding one or more stores at the same time.
You know what, Peter? If you can find something on this, I will throw it up here on the screen so we can all look at it together. That would be awesome. But Rob, the majority of what natural selection is, right, as a model, is just environments acting on populations, and the traits that are selected for just being passed on through a higher likelihood of reproduction, right? That's all that is selection pressures acting on populations over long periods of time, geologic time, right? Millions of years.
I got you.
So what part of that do you have like a problem with? What about that just doesn't click for you?
I would say the part that doesn't click for me is, well, that's a good question. I just have a hard time with maybe it's incredulity or just my own upbringing or some combination of where I am in my life right now. I just have a hard time accepting that macroevolution is plausible at this point in my life.
Are you willing to be convinced?
Yes.
Are you? If we can illustrate this for you, would you want to know more?
Yes.
Because this is a big mystery, right? Is where we all come from, and I think that you, as a person, are really invested in knowing where we come from.
Yes,
which is really good. It's awesome that you're asking these questions, right?
So here's the thing about me, Cam. I am interested in truth and going where the evidence leads, no matter how how unsettling it may, or just uncomfortable it may be for me.
Okay. All right. I'll hold you to that. By
all means.
Have you heard of the peppered moths?
No.
Peppered moths. This is a fantastic example of evolution happening within a human lifespan, right? Observably in front of our eyes within a human lifespan. So I'll have to remember exactly where I might be able to bring it up here. In London, in a large industrial center.
Yeah, it was actually in multiple industrial centers during the upcoming steam age.
Yes, in the Industrial Revolution. Yeah. So during the Industrial Revolution, I think this was cited first in London, but apparently it's happened in other places. There are these species of moths that they have white carapaces and white wings, right? And they have this as an adaptation to blend in with the surrounding trees, which have light colored bark, right? But as these factories were built, right, and they started spewing soot and other icky things into the atmosphere, and these things started sticking to the trees, right? These white-colored moths started... Oh, my camera's acting up again. These white-colored moths started to get eaten more often by birds in the area. They were targeted because they stood out against the dark-colored, soot-covered trees, right? Within the peppered moths, there was a small population that was a victim. I shouldn't say victim, maybe, because it's not really an intentional thing. But they had a mutation that made their carapaces and their wings darker colored, right? And I will post this here in the chat. So as the trees began to get darker and darker colored, and the white moths were not able to live long enough to pass on those genes, the dark moths started blending in more with their surroundings and became more likely to survive and more likely to reproduce. And scientists eventually, after many, many years of studying this, concluded that this was an instance of speciation, that a specific group had been genetically isolated to a sufficient degree that it was a new species.
Okay.
Right? And this is really, really cool because it happened with the span of human lifetime. So we were able to observe every step of this process. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
So the mechanism, right, through which this happens makes sense to you, right? That as the environment changes, the species, a portion of the species is going to be fit to adapt because they have the necessary traits as part of random mutations. Sorry.
So to be honest, this is was brought up as a great example for natural selection because the moths that didn't blend in on the trees got picked off by birds.
Yes.
Whereas the moth that would still be able to camouflage, which when the industrial age hit, were the darker moths because the trees were covered in soot.
Yeah.
And so because those weren't eaten by the birds, that particular adaptation took over. And now, since we've gotten rid of steam and gotten rid of a lot of the pollution, it's going back to the lighter moths again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're witnessing at this moment.
Right. And this has been ongoing since the 1810s, man. Like we've been witnessing this industrial revolution. But Rob, that mechanism makes sense to you, right? Yes. Environmental selection pressures acting on a group of individuals of a species, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so now I just want you to imagine that over successive generations, right? As the environment changes and each individual change forces different selection pressures on that group, they start splitting off, right, in different directions. And if we fast forward a couple million years and we look at the two end products, right, the thing that started up here with the one kind of moth and then turned into turned into two kinds of moths. Hold on, just wait for there we go. And then turned into two kinds of moths. And then we follow this down all the way, millions of years. You would agree that it makes sense that we would find things that are not only very distinct from each other, but noticeably distinct from that ancestor, right?
That would seem to make sense if the theory is true.
Well, I mean, forget about whether the theory is true or not, right? Because we're just describing the mechanism.
Well, I don't know if you can say that.
Well, just put that aside for a moment. We're just talking about the mechanism, right?
Okay, sure.
We're just talking about the mechanism. Slowly over time, these changes are going to add up, right? And they're going to create beings that are more perfectly adapted to their environments, right? As those environments change.
Yeah. So we have a question for you, Cam.
Sure.
Would you say that for this natural selection to be plausible, then a lot of species must die at the same time?
Sorry? You were breaking up there at the end. What did you say?
I said, for what you're saying to be true, then there's got to be a lot of species that must have died out over the evolutionary chain as well.
Oh yeah, 99% of all species that have ever been on Earth, Rob, have died out.
And it's no longer guessing whether or not it's a fact. We observe it on at this moment in thousands of different places all over the planet where we see natural selection happening. By the way, I found a video. I found a video if you want to.
Why don't you drop that in our private chat and I will put it up here on the screen.
I can share it.
Oh, even better. Thank you. You're so helpful, Peter. Thank you. All right, add stage. Oh, let's see it. Go ahead.
Hold on. I need to because I'm hacking StreamYard actually. So and
Peter, are you working for the Dutch mafia, Peter?
Things go wonky. Things go wonky for me. But so this is a video where Thailand police form special teams to fight monkey gangs. So
let's see it.
That bad at this moment. So there are subtitles. They not only raid stores, they now attack driving cars, people, literally everything. They're not afraid anymore of anything.
So it's an attack of the apes. It's an attack of the monkeys.
It's Planet of the Apes, but in real life. Look,
look at this. Dude, homie's in full battle rattle for the fucking monkeys, man.
And they're not killing them. They're going after them with slingshots so they won't kill them, but just scare them away.
That's amazing.
And look, the monkeys know that there's trouble because they move away. They know.
Peter, this is in Indonesia?
This is in Thailand.
This is in Thailand.
Okay. That's amazing.
Preventing monkeys from stealing. That's crazy.
It's only a matter of time before the monkeys figure out that if they get the keys from a motorcycle, the cops won't be able to follow them anymore because they can't get on the bike and chase them.
That's amazing.
Trank guns. Oh my god.
Has that ever happened?
I can't imagine that it hasn't, man. That's some serious business. Look at that.
You think these are stupid animals, but they're pretty intelligent.
They're very intelligent.
They look pretty smart to me, man. I like this. We're in the middle of a raid. Let's have some chow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta stir.
And they're coordinated. Look, it's so funny.
It's hard to tell if they're having fun or just trying to get them. Oh, they're trying to get them out their body. And
I think a lot of tourists are just there to have fun, but you see, they're going
through
one
guy's trying to do like a meditative pose, like the whole like yin and yang. I'm surrounded by orangutans,
and they got gang fights between different gangs.
This is amazing. I've never seen this.
This is so
Cam,
wild.
have you ever seen anything like this?
No. I've seen videos of like individual monkeys stealing things, never of them being as organized as we can see here.
I work with a primatologist who has worked with both Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and specifically for her knowledge on primates.
Am I thinking of the right person? Is this could it be Gutsick Gibbon?
No, Natalia Reagan.
No way. No way.
This is amazing. Thailand is crazy, man. The only thing I know really about Thailand is they have beautiful women, they have beautiful country, and they have like one of the most insane combat systems in the world known as Muay Thai.
Oh yeah, big stuff over there. But Rob, you can understand how the mechanism works, right? Because that's really important. Because I know that there's a lot of misconceptions about how that mechanism works, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I know there's a lot of talk. I hear people will dolphins don't become bears and bears don't become birds, right? And that's not really how any of it works, and that's not how we understand it to work.
Right.
The misconception is on the part of the creationists for the most part, because they don't want to get too close to the actual studies, because I think most of them know that there's no way of getting around this. Evolution is a theory, but it's also a fact. It is the most established theory in science.
It's funny that you bring that up, Peter. Rob, do you know what it would take to completely demolish evolution forever?
What's that?
It would take finding a single fossil in the wrong geologic strata.
Yeah.
Just one. And then we would have to go all the way back to the drawing board, man, because if we found something where we weren't expecting to find it, it would be really bad.
That would literally be throwing a monkey wrench in the
literally, right?
Yes.
And you want to know how many times we found by surprise or by accident fossils in the wrong strata?
Heavens.
Not once. Not once. Bro.
That's not entirely true.
In the wrong geologic strata, Peter?
Yes, because
let's hear it.
So there is such a thing as tectonic plates. So at times, layers will be shoved into another layer, and that's where we find out of place fossils. But we're always able to figure out that this is
I meant
different
things
layer.
that are like unaccounted for, right? Of course, along geologic fault lines and stuff, and where we see a lot of subsuming.
I did a show with he's on Twitter called Answers in Rocks.
Is this like an alternative to Answers in Genesis?
Yeah.
Yes. But this guy, for a living, does radiometric dating.
Okay.
And so radiometric dating is so advanced right now that for some methods, we can get accuracy within days. And they've been able to track this because of the volcano that destroyed
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius, yeah, that
Vesuvius,
destroyed.
yeah. We carbon-14 dated artifacts and rocks. Well, not rocks, but artifacts to the exact date on the calendar when Vesuvius erupted. Because carbon-14 dating within this time period, right, which is like what, 50 to 60,000 years?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank about the city that
is it Pompeii?
Yeah,
how do
Pompeii.
You draw a blank, Peter?
You don't,
because it's 4:30 a.m.
I'm just busting your chops, brother.
But Rob,
I've had a very busy day.
Carbon-14 dating is that accurate, man, and it's that reliable within that time.
It's not just carbon-14 dating. The other dating methods are getting closer and closer as well.
Yeah, and, like potassium argon dating and uranium lead dating and stuff like that.
Yes, and so the thing that no one could explain is, so different methods overlap each other, and when they do, and they test stuff for dating, they give the exact same dates. So two different methods get to the same date, or more different methods sometimes.
Comparing the results of potassium argon dating and carbon-14 dating within certain ranges, right? Without needing, because of course these two methods don't require anything from each other, right? So you don't get any cross-contamination. You study the same rock with two different rulers, and you get the same result, which is really, really cool, because it means that you don't have to trust the reading of a single machine or the outcome of a single equation, because radiometric dating is a math thing, right? You can math this out. But you can confirm the results independently with lots of different methods.
So, and all of that. So literally every field of science contributes to confirming evolution, whether it's geology, whether it's paleontology, whether it's paleoclimatology,
astrophysics,
all of that, astrophysics, all of that combined supports evolution. And that makes evolution the most robust theory we have at the moment. We wish we would know as much about, let's say, gravity. Cosmology.
Yeah. There's lots of unanswered questions in science, Rob. There are plenty of things that we don't know, like just flat out. And there's nothing wrong with saying that we don't know. But when it comes to like the diversity of life on Earth, save with abiogenesis, as in the exact moment when it happened and how exactly the first building block was made, everything after that is very well documented.
For that, we have at least 8 working hypotheses on how it could happen, and they could all have happened at the same time.
I was just reading on the metabolism first hypothesis, and I was like, wow, how these proteins could evolve. The idea that evolution can act on things that we might not necessarily call living.
Exactly. And then
of proteins, but because the ability of random mutations exist, things can be selected.
Strings of proteins. Not just strings of proteins, because we've had several occasions where by accident they discovered that RNA had formed spontaneously.
Yeah.
And RNA in our body is what creates our DNA.
Yeah. I want to give Rob a chance to talk. Rob, what do you think so far? How are you feeling?
You see what I was saying earlier about that when I don't talk, I really listen, I don't interrupt. And I just let you go on.
It was really cool of you. I appreciate that, Rob. Now I want to give you the floor. You see
that I do that a lot. I don't
Yeah, you
interrupt
do.
you when you're talking at all.
Sure.
And I don't talk nearly as much as you when I'm talking.
Although I don't mind being interrupted. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt. If because there's a lot being said at this moment. So if
Well, the thing is, every time I
dense
try to
subject.
interrupt Cam, he's like, hold on.
Yeah, sorry. I
Yeah.
have to. I have
What
ADHD,
works-
dude. I have to finish the point.
what works best for me is
Yeah.
shut up, Peter, and then I'll listen.
Shut up, Peter.
You'll have
Shut
my
up, Peter.
attention.
Shut up, Peter.
All right.
I said it 3 times.
Yeah, see, come on.
I'm just busting his chops.
We don't tell anybody to shut up on my channel. It's not.
We just said what
We're
works
nice
for him to say shut up.
I mean,
So
I don't have a problem with that. And I forgot who it was. It was someone who was a lot more famous than I was, and I said the same thing. And during one of our shows, he said, "Shut up, Peter," and the chat blew up. And I had to explain that I had said that they should do that to me, and this wasn't a problem. This was an upon agreed thing that we did
but I guess
before
the
we
people
went
in the
live.
chat, they must have
People
they
in the
must have
chat
joined-
were, well, he thinks he's famous, right? Telling people to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peter,
that was fun.
Peter. So basically, the people in the chat must have joined after that was established.
No. That was done before we went live. So no one heard that.
Off
So
camera.
they didn't. The audience was totally in the dark about it then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
which can happen at times. I mean, on Arn's channel, I sometimes have an awful lot of fun jerking Arn around when there's something that has happened before the show.
It's easy to jerk around because he's got like the patience of a 3-year-old.
Arn is one of the most respectful and most patient people I've known.
Like I
because
said, Rob, he's just been around the block too many times.
Yeah.
Man.
If you're able to work with me, Rob, then you have a degree in patience.
Yeah. Anyway, Rob, I really do want to give you a chance to respond to all of the stuff that we've been talking about.
See what I mean?
We have been
I start
talking about.
responding, and then you both start interrupting me almost immediately.
I'm trying to give you the floor, man. I'm sorry. We keep getting sidetracked.
I'm here for the dumpster fire. Can't you see that? I mean, I gave that away when I joined. By the way, that's your fault, Rob, because you wanted to do a 2-on-2. So I had the channel. I made all the artwork, and I'm currently waiting on the guy who wrote the song to get the song for the intro. And that, Rob, is going to blow you away because that's a beautiful song that you will hate.
Well, I mean, I'm already pretty impressed with the graphic going on.
Yeah, Peter's pretty good with the graphics.
Kev is literally on fire. As are you. My
You're on fire. You're on fire too.
We're all flaming, Rob. We're all flaming.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you're actually moving around in it, Cam. Me and Peter are just.
Well, I can do you one better.
Fire,
I can do you one better, Rob. Turn your camera on.
You can dance to the fire too, man.
1 second. All right. There we go. There we go.
Hell
Beautiful.
yeah. Hell yeah. All right. But for real, Rob.
I'm on fire. I'm on fire and I'm still not harmed. I'm like, Jesus, man. Our Moses in the burning bush. This is amazing.
Oh, careful comparing yourself to Jesus there, man.
No, I said then I went to Moses. Moses was in the burning bush.
Man, I wish I had some burning bush right now.
And just for reference, this was easy. I did this in, I think I spent an hour earlier this evening getting this together. So
that's pretty
impressive. It's not too hard.
All right, Rob, we want to hear what you have to say, man. We really do.
I don't even know what the question is anymore. You guys have just you're so what's the word? What's the word, Peter? You guys kept
gish galloping.
Gish galloping.
Oh,
gish
no,
galloping.
That's another word.
No, it's actually called gish galloping. It's after a guy called Gish, a young Earth creationist, who during debates would sum up so many facts that his opponent was impossible to react to all of it at the same time, which is a dishonest tactic, but it was named after Dwayne Gish, an evangelical apologist, I think he was.
Okay, no, there was another term you used last week there, Peter.
You kept
I don't
something
gish
to
gallop.
say.
I
Well,
don't
there was
gish
another
gallop.
term you used last week.
I
Peter, that's
ramble.
what I'm saying.
I ramble, and I need to
No
be stopped
shit.
because, yeah.
You both ramble.
All right, Rob. We covered the mechanism.
The
Hold on,
problem
Peter,
is,
hold on,
Rob,
Peter.
is my history. I had my own radio and TV show here in the Netherlands, so I'm used to listen to my own voice, and if I don't hear my own voice for a while, then I get nervous.
Oh boy,
That's an insecurity issue, man.
I'm kidding.
All right,
But
Rob,
I did have my own radio and TV show.
Rob, we explained to you the mechanism that evolution uses, which is natural selection, right? Environments changing and populations adapting. It's one of them, right? Populations adapting and the adaptations being passed down over successive generations, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know what you think so far, because you said that made sense to you.
Yeah, it made sense, but honestly, I'm too tired to kind of process everything that's been said in the last 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Rob, come on, man. We're here to have
I'm
a
being
conversation.
honest.
I thought you were well rested.
Well,
you relaxed all day. What happened?
Let me from all of that. Let me ask you a specific question. The thing that Cam came up with the moths, right? The peppered moth. So that is because the environment changes. The bark of the trees gets darker. So the lighter moths are easier to spot by birds, and those are the ones getting picked off. So the black one survives. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
See?
So you accept natural selection as a thing that exists, right?
In the way that you've described it there, guys.
Yeah, well, that's how it happens. In more complicated terms, of course, if you get into the literature of it, it can get very, very complicated very fast. But that is the basic gist of it: is environments, selection pressures, evolution over long periods of time, right? But you understand that this hold on, Peter, that this process, right? Yes, we observed it in the peppered moths, but you know, the color of an insect's wings and carapace is a very minor change, right? And yes, we can observe it over a period of time, but it's not really super huge. But you can understand how over long periods of time, millions of years, right? Hundreds of thousands of generations, the small things start to add up, right? And it's not really guided, by the way.
No. I mean, in this situation, it appears unguided, yes.
Well, it is unguided.
Kind of,
evolution doesn't have a goal.
It's kind of guided by the environment, but there's no goal in mind because we're always too late. We're adapting to a change. Yeah, so we're already too late.
Only the members of the population who at that time had whatever mutation happens to be best adapted to the situation get to carry on those genes.
In Italy, there's a famous example. There's a family that developed a gene. And I forgot what it actually. So it makes a chemical that we lack, and that prevents these people from having heart attacks. And because this is beneficial, this is now passed on into that particular city, and more people adapt to that.
It's in the gene pool now.
Yes.
Right. And another great example is American Indians, right, have a genetic difference, right, as part of their ethnicity that makes them more affected by alcohol. That's another really, really great example. Their people have not been exposed to alcohol for so very long that they did not, over time, like the Europeans did, develop the genetic I don't know what you would call it, the genetic adaptations to
the capability
the capability to synthesize or to process alcohol as well.
Yeah,
that's another great example of natural selection acting on humans over
one famous example of someone who is from Native American descent and does have that is a guy called Onra.
Is that right?
He drinks beer all the time.
Wow.
people ask him what he's drinking during every show, and then he has to show what kind of beer he's drinking.
Uh-oh. It seems Rob is momentarily out of commission.
No, I think he just turned off the camera. Oh no, he's muted as well. Yeah,
Is
you
everything
can see
okay, Rob?
he's
Are we
he's
okay?
tired.
All good, all good. Yeah, sorry. Just
Is it a little too late for you, man? I'm sorry. I was
No.
was
It's
out.
just I'm just starting to fade. That's all.
Oh,
Hey, man,
I
if you
just
need
put
to
up
head
your
out-
picture, so now you look chirpy again.
Hey, Rob, if you need to head out, it's no big deal, man. I'm not going to feel cross with you about it.
Oh,
I can hang out with Peter for a little bit, and then we can turn the camera off.
Yeah.
Before I
you guys
forget.
like Vancouver anyways.
happy birthday, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. All
You're
right,
43?
I am.
Wow.
Two,
I'm
two
19
weeks,
years
and then-
older, juniors to Peter.
2 weeks, and then I'll be 62.
Jeez, man. Am I really the youngest in the room?
Yep.
It's crazy.
Apparently
Remarkably,
so.
demonstrably,
Yeah.
It's
24.
scientific. You're scientifically the youngest person in the room.
It's scientifically demonstrable. It's a scientific fact, Rob.
Facts.
How's it feel to have
Oh, man.
gone in circles around the sun twice as many times as I have?
I've
How's
almost
it
been
feel?
around the sun 19 times more than you, youngin.
Yeah, like I said, you're like 20 years my senior, man. How's that feel?
Almost. I'm 19 years.
And
Normal
I'm almost 20 years Rob
His
senior.
senior, yeah.
Yeah. So
Look at
you're
that.
old enough to be
We've got a
Peter's-
nice intergenerational conversation.
Generational conversation. Oh man.
On
we
my
had-
screen, the room between the pictures, that's a generation gap.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
see,
that's
you
true.
see, the younger generation is now upcoming. It's just evolving out of the.
Peter
Yeah.
could be Kem's grandfather, like an age.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah, actually. I mean, my grandfather died at 75, and that was like 10 years ago. But yeah,
There you go.
in a world, in another world, man, in another life,
Yeah.
you've definitely got the age for it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Peter. You're aging like fine wine.
So I'm not bothered
Well-
by age. At times I wish I was younger because
Yeah.
I do see the effects of old age.
Well,
Slowly
I've
creeping
also
in,
said
but-
Peter's like fine wine in other ways. He's an acquired taste.
Ah!
It depends, Rob. I've worked with kids a lot, so get a couple of 5 and 6 year olds and let's go to a playground, and I'll evolve back into a 5-year-old, and I'll be the worst one of the bunch. Promise.
It's evolving,
I-
just backwards.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's why you are an acquired taste.
I mean, I wish I was their age, and now I'm this old. I can actually understand, and I'm now at an age where people say, okay, yeah, he's getting old. He's kind of losing it a little, right? So I get excused for doing things that I couldn't do when I was 40, because now I'm old and going on to senility. So yeah, I get away with a lot.
Oh wow, wow.
nah.
Anyway,
I'm sure.
so
I'm sure you're gonna be a spring chicken for another like 30 years, Rob. Or not, Rob. Peter.
I have.
You too,
I have
Rob.
used,
You too, Rob.
I have used this against a Christian who's a very obnoxious person,
Can't be me.
and he always asks the people he talks to, how old are you? And then when they're young, he starts berating them. And I'm 60. I could be your grandfather, and you think that I don't know more than you do, when he actually doesn't know more. So when I talk to him, he asked me at some point, how old are you? And I know that he's a year older than I am. And so I said, I'm a year less close to being senile than you are. And that kind of
It's a
pissed
bit-
him off.
That's an answer.
So
That's good.
How
you
does he
might
respond to
know
that?
you might know a lot, but you're not all there anymore, and I am. So, and that didn't go down well.
You're
It
all
didn't
there,
go good.
maybe a little bit subjective too. I mean, you just admitted to be on the path of senility, Peter. So
We're
I mean,
all on the path
it's
to
an
senility,
excuse.
Rob.
It's an
It's a
excuse I
spectrum.
love
It's a
using.
spectrum.
I love using that excuse.
all right, gentlemen, I
Because-
do gotta go.
Take it easy, Rob. It's good.
No
It's good
worries.
seeing you.
You too, man.
Oh, Rob. Oh, before you go, I have one thing.
Sure.
Because you came up with the idea of talking to Kem and me, and I thought that it would be kind of dishonest because then it will be two people teaming up on you. I do have a Christian friend, so you're aware of Kent Hovind, right?
Yeah,
Okay, he worked at Dinosaur Adventureland.
I'm aware
He
of this.
was. Yeah. So, and he's a really cool guy. I've been friends with him for a long time now.
Oh, this
and
is the one that you're talking about in terms of age. I see now.
No, that's not him. This is a younger guy. But
Okay,
so if you're
because
okay
Ken-
with
that's
it,
right, because he's in his early 70s. That's right. Never mind.
no, he's
Ken Hovind is early 70s.
Kent Hovind. Yeah, but the guy that I'm talking about is I think in his mid 30s. But if you're okay with it, I would like to invite him so that you'll be to make it fair that we are two Christians and two atheists. And he's not afraid to call me out. So and so we can do that on my channel because there's no language restrictions and so if you want to say fuck you, Peter, then he can say that. Sorry.
I have no language restriction on my channel too. I just don't use the language.
I don't have language restrictions. I have behavior restrictions. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. Just don't be a dick about it.
Okay, fuck you. I'm not gonna be a dick.
Well,
Perfect. Fuck you. Be that way.
I also work with Jimmy Snow at times from the line, and there's an ongoing gag in the chat there where everyone says go fuck yourself, Jimmy. I mean, people are paying super chats, just go fuck yourself, Jimmy. That's it.
Are you serious, Peter?
Yes. Yes.
People need to get lies, man.
No. This is
part of the fun. It's community.
This is actually this is actually brilliant because Jimmy created this. Yeah, Jimmy created this himself to show people that he doesn't get insulted by stuff like that. No, and so now it's an ongoing gag.
You could both say it to me right now, and I honestly wouldn't care.
You know I wouldn't.
Oh, and that's so. But
I'm just saying it wouldn't bother me.
It's a strength because if you think that words have some kind of magical power, then you need help. I mean,
Careful, Peter. Rob
words
don't
have magical power.
We can't talk about words having magical power. It's gonna bring up a prayer question, and I don't know that Rob can answer that right
now.
No, is Rob actually admitting that prayer is magic and God is magic?
No, that's not
because.
I mean, it's a spiritual, it's.
I'm not. No, that's Kem's putting words in my mouth. I'm not admitting that.
I didn't put any words. I didn't put anything in your mouth, Rob. I was warning Peter that saying that magic words don't have power is kind of problematic because you believe in prayer, and I don't know that you're equipped for that argument right now.
Well, that's an argument for another day.
It's an argument.
I'm pretty sure I am though.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, we will. Are you skeptical of that, Peter? Or sorry, Kem?
Of prayer? Absolutely.
Well, are you skeptical of your own skepticism?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I wonder how much I wonder about it, to be honest with you.
That's a little bit too much.
I'm not sure about how sure I am.
Do you know that you can know things?
I don't know. Can I?
It depends on how you define know, because
and how you define thing.
Yeah, for me, knowledge is demonstrable and measurable with accuracy. So if you say you know something, then you should be able to demonstrate it, and we should be able to measure it.
2 + 2 is 4 every single time. I know that.
That's actually not true.
Okay, well, we'll save that for another day. I gotta go, gentlemen.
Take it easy, Rob.
See you.
Catch you later, Rob.
See you, man.
Peter, I'm so happy you dropped by, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw you
it's so
going
good to
live,
hear.
and I couldn't sleep anyway, so I thought, what the hell?
Fuck it.
Let's do this. Hold on. Let me move you over.
Oh.
Okay, and then
This is all fancy, man. I just made the
That's-
StreamYard account today. I was trying to set it up sort of on the
There we go.
fly. You're coming with all this fancy stuff, man.
that's what I do. I
You must
mean,
charge a pretty penny for producer work. Jeez.
uh,
How does Aaron keep you on payroll, man?
that's another ongoing joke because I don't get paid.
You don't get paid? He doesn't pay you?
No, because I told him that. So this
All
is,
those
this
super
is
chats
one-
and he doesn't pay you, Peter?
This is well. Keep in mind, for Aaron, that's his income.
Oh, that's fair. He does this full
I
time.
have an income.
Yeah.
For me, it's hobby, and for me, it's just fun.
Well, you know what? It makes you that much of a cool person that you're willing to do that for Aaron for free. That's awesome.
I've done it. I do it
And
for several people.
It
I
definitely shows how much effort you put into it, and it very much improves the quality of the stream. I can tell you, being in the stream is fun. I've been in plenty of people's streams where there's just no engagement. There's nothing cool or interesting to look at.
Well, see, that's something that you learn over time. As I said, I had my own radio show, and when I started out, I was completely freaked out when I had a guest, especially when it was some kind of famous musician, and then I had to ask questions. And then I think the third time I had a guest, they said, "How about we do this on TV?" Oh, sure. This inexperienced idiot that just volunteered to do your radio show now has to put his shitty face on camera too. And so,
Yeah.
but it went well, and I seem to have the ability to keep a conversation going. I never have prepared questions.
Yeah,
no matter
I
who
know firsthand how well you can carry on a conversation. We spoke for hours the other time, man, and that was I don't know that I've had that high quality of a conversation with somebody before.
Thank you.
It was just really, really nice for a change. You're used to all of the small talk, your day to day, and you socialize with your friends, and that's not you're not having like a super devoted or dedicated conversation about anything. But talking with you is awesome. I'm blown away.
And I have the same thing now. I work with Arn because I've met some very incredible people. I met Sean Carroll, the theoretical physicist. On Jackson's channel, I met Lawrence Krauss. Wow. On Aaron's channel, I met Donald Johansson, the guy who found Lucy. The guy, and I forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name. The guy who found Tiktaalik.
What? That's insane.
My literally, I'm ticking off my bucket list.
That's intense.
Who's
Talk
the other
about
one?
standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, the guy who became famous for the Kitzmiller versus Dover case, Ken Miller. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I don't know that I've heard of the case. It's not ringing.
You haven't?
I probably I don't, not by name.
I'll get you a link. So this is a famous case where
what did you say?
They
was
tried
Miller.
Kitzmiller versus Dover.
Kitzmiller.
AITZ.
Hold on. Oh! You met this dude?
Yeah. And he has agreed to come on my show, and I didn't think I was good enough yet, so I haven't invited him yet, but I'm going to have him on. I'm hoping sometime soon this year, because it's repeating itself at the moment. So they're trying to get creationism back into the schools again, And so I really want to have a conversation with him about that.
That's one of those things that I just can't buy, dude. Hold on, I'm gonna change the title here of the stream real quick. Chatting with YouTube. I'm gonna go for it. All right.
And I met my favorite Bible scholar there. Someone who I have admired for years, long before I went onto Twitter and YouTube. Francesca Stavrakopoulou. She's from the UK. She's a very well-renowned Bible scholar. And
what's her area of expertise?
The Old Testament.
Interesting. Very interesting.
She's made several documentaries. My absolute favorite is a documentary, Does God Have a Wife? And then she goes to Yahweh's, looking for Yahweh's wife.
Whoa.
It's a brilliant documentary. And I'm
going to have to watch that. I'll watch that tonight. Does God have
Yeah, that's not on YouTube. You have to find that on Daily Motion. I can send you a link to that.
Does God have a wife? Hold on. Documentary.
You don't have to look. I'll get you the link. Where?
A DVD of this thing cost $170. Oh, it's on Daily Motion. I found it. Cool. I will definitely watch this tonight. Or actually, it would be cool if we could have a day where we just watch this together. That would be dope on stream. We just like commentary, like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Dude, you heard of Mystery Science Theater 3000?
No.
Oh man, it's this I guess they're movies, I guess, right? This guy, he uses these two puppets and he does like backseat commentary to like old B movies. And it's hilarious. The two puppets just crack jokes back and forth over the course of a movie. They're like live commentating. It's hilarious.
So do you have 13 minutes?
13 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Hold on. Let me
I was thinking like we could get a couple of people. I would love to sit Rob through this. This would be really cool. This is an hour long though. That's a full stream.
Okay. There we go.
I wanted to do it with headphones though. Oh, what is this? Oh, Peter. Oh, very cool.
That's Francesca Stavrakopoulou.
Dope.
And this is an interview on Australian TV, I think. But it's one of the coolest interviews that I've come across so far.
Let's play it. Let's run it.
We cannot possibly understand Western culture and the history of Western culture without the Bible.
Professor Francesca Stavrakopoulou is the head of theology and religion at the University of Exeter in the UK. She's a renowned biblical scholar who's devoted her life to looking for the historical evidence of one of the world's most important books.
But I'm not a fundamentalist who takes every word of the Bible as fact. I think the truth is much more interesting.
Would you please welcome Francesca Stavrakopoulou?
Oh, he botched it! He botched it live!
I can't believe I stumbled on Francesca.
Almost everyone does.
Wow.
So we're just gonna talk about the Bible,
yeah.
And I want to learn more about it. First off, who wrote it and when?
Some people think that Moses wrote it, which he didn't, because Moses didn't exist. So then you have to think, well, who did write it? And it's basically a collection of different authors from centuries and centuries. So probably with the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament, you're talking about at least 500 years in the making. With the New Testament, you're talking about probably 150 to 200 years in the making. But basically, it was all written by men with daddy issues.
Oh, come on.
So here's the thing. There are people right now writing complaint letters just on the first answer to the first question.
Right. So I'm wondering why.
No,
is
they were
taking
writing
a
complaints when she
historical
said Moses
approach to
wasn't
the
real.
Bible
That's
so controversial.
crazy.
It's controversial because when you do take a historical approach, so look at the archaeological evidence for events or people described in the Bible, it's very hard to find corroborating evidence to support the biblical claims about the past. So once you start saying, did this actually happen or not? So was Jonah swallowed by a big fish? Obviously, no, he wasn't swallowed by a big fish. Was there an exodus from Egypt? No, there wasn't an exodus. So once you start doing that, then you have to start doubting the credibility of all the other claims that the Bible makes. And that's why people get annoyed, because for some reason, people like to think that the Bible's true.
Right. People like heaps like to think that the Bible is true.
Yeah.
But really, we'll get back. The first thing,
She's
one of the
so
first
out of
things you said was
pocket,
Moses
bro.
wasn't real.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we've just had Pesach, the celebration of freedom of the Jews.
Yeah.
Led by Moses to freedom.
Yeah.
And you're saying he wasn't real.
No, he probably wasn't. So there's a lot about him that's really interesting. So in his tradition, the traditions that are told about him, so Moses is an Egyptian name. The Hebrew Bible writers kind of say this name is derived from a Hebrew verb, meaning to draw out of the water. So when he was a baby and kind of set into the basket of reeds. But actually, it's,
so far, story checks out.
So far, it checks out, except that Moses himself, there's no evidence for him being a historical figure, like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of that. It's all made up. But he's drawn.
Rob is going to love this.
That's
wild.
That probably were around very broadly in the culture. So he's like a bit of a magician. So, you know, he's like, woo, look at this star.
Yeah, we all like a good magician, but some people want to believe it's more than that. How do you know? Like when you say none of that was real, it was all made up. How do you know?
Because dating the texts, you can see in terms of the Hebrew words that are used, in terms of some of the details, like references to camels. There were no camels in that part of the world at that time. That kind of stuff.
You lied to me, Cecil B. DeMille.
But yeah, that kind of detail tells you that these texts were written many centuries after the events that they're describing.
Wait. There were no camels
why are they telling
in
the story
Egypt
about escape
at the time that Moses purports to be writing about this stuff?
No.
What?
And this is why I love
I didn't know
her.
that. What the hell?
She knows so much about the Bible, but still thinks it's one of the most beautiful books that she's ever come across. So she does have
it's
respect.
a super powerful document, man. No doubt about that.
Yeah, but so she does have respect for the book, but yeah, you can see how a lot of Christians hate her guts.
Oh no, immediately. It's like you're not even. I'm surprised that this even aired. It's insane to me that this was on television, because in America this would be a scandal.
Yeah, so a couple of months ago, she was on Ross channel, and then she was on Digital Hammurabi's channel, and on Myth Vision. She did the rounds on a couple of channels. That this was during COVID, where she had just a little bit more time to do stuff like this. And there was a Christian apologist, and basically what he says, well, she's got nice boobs and she looks good, so obviously people will believe what she's saying because, you know, that's how guys are. And that blew up because this was a guy.
What a vile thing to say. What?
Yes. And this was also a guy holding a PhD, but a PhD from a non-accredited Christian school.
Of course,
and
as one does.
Yeah, so he pretty much got what was coming to him. I mean, he got put on blast.
Yeah,
literally.
No, that's so gross, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but.
Yeah, I don't know that you could put her on TV in the United States, man. You couldn't put her on primetime news to talk about.
Oh, you'd have a war on your hands.
Yeah,
People
man.
would
Like
be waiting outside of the studio.
Like the way that you appeal to non-Christians is by pretending to be a Christian, bro. Like, as a Christian, I don't support X, and that's how you appeal to non-Christian people, right?
Yeah.
It's so strange.
In the UK, there was a famous talk show, and I forgot the name. But if you look up Francesca Stavrokopoulou on YouTube, there will be lots from this particular talk show where she goes after Dawkins at some point. So
He goes after
she's
Dawkins?
not. Yeah, she's not afraid to go after anyone who says something that she knows is wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Damn. Speaking of
but
Dawkins, did you hear recently he gave an interview talking about how he's a cultural Christian, and he was like lamenting the death of Christianity?
Yeah.
What a strange thing to say.
He's at first it looked like he just couldn't handle Twitter and couldn't get his messages out in back then still 144 characters.
Yeah.
It's getting progressively worse. He's had some transphobic stuff as well. So
I mean, I can understand the anxiety, right, about the encroaching like Islamism, right? Because I recognize that just as like a Christian theocracy or a Christian nationalism in the United States, right, is like a serious thing. In Europe, it's Islamism, right? Like the Islamic
but it isn't.
political joinery that
but
is
it isn't.
like no. I mean, like that's the well, in the UK especially, that's what's in the right-leaning rhetoric, right? Just as Americans talk about the encroachment of like Christian nationalism, and we understand that it exists, but not like to the degree that some people think it does, right? The Islamist sentiment certainly exists in the UK and Europe.
I have to jump in. Have you heard of the Wedge document?
The what now?
The Wedge document.
The Wedge document. No, sir.
Yeah, there are two billionaire brothers, the Koch brothers, and I think one of them has. Yeah.
No, not the Koch brothers. It's always bad with those motherfuckers.
Yeah. So they put millions into driving a wedge through politics by getting specific people elected.
Mm.
And they put millions, if not billions, into this. And this is what we're currently experiencing. So the fact that DeVos got to be handling the education when Trump was president.
Yeah.
Insane. That's a young earth creationist in charge of education. That is insane.
Yeah. But that's part of what I'm getting at, right? Is the just as we see the encroachment of Christian nationalism in the United States, right? The sort of the religious meeting and mating with the political. In the UK, that's very much something that's sort of starting to happen. Every church that gets torn down is replaced with a mosque in the UK.
Yeah, but it's not as it's made out to be.
No, of course not. It's very much sensationalized. Yeah, I totally get with you on that. But I mean, that is a thing that is starting to happen, right? As the not even necessarily from Africa or from the Middle East, but just as the Muslim and Islamic culture is sort of pushing towards Europe, as we're starting to see this slow shift of these populations as they resettle.
It's because of the
I understand
the
why
wars
Dawkins is concerned.
Yeah, through the wars that we've had in recent times. I mean, in Iraq, for instance.
Yeah, of course.
You had a lot of refugees, and those people come into the countries that are closest to them. So that's Europe,
and I mean the
right?
further collapse of those regimes, right? I mean, Iran has been dealing with issues far before we got involved, right? And they're going to be dealing with issues far after. But as these oppressive regimes start to collapse in the Middle East and in North Africa, and as these Islamic theocracies start to sort of break down, we are going to see that push and that resettlement of these.
You see the same thing. You see the same thing in the United States. So Christianity is on its decline.
Yeah.
Whereas young Earth creationism is on the rise.
Yeah. You're the middlemen, the people in the middle, in the center, who are like not necessarily one way or the other. We're starting to see fewer of those, but we're starting to see a lot more on the extreme.
Yes.
Right. And so I understand
and the numbers. The numbers are far lower though, but it is a weird.
And it's weird that it's getting sort of nested in politics now, right?
Yes.
And we're starting to see a return to this like I don't want to call it like a religious conflict, but even I see it on the left, right? That this new strain of progressivism is almost kind of religious. It's this weird fervor that exists on the far left and on the far right. They're just different flavors. I understand why Dawkins is concerned, because I see sort of what he's seeing. I don't know that his answer to the question is good. I don't know that we combat bad religiosity with good religiosity. I just think religiosity in general is not a good idea. It's not conducive to good results for anyone. So him calling himself a cultural Christian kind of bugs me.
Yeah, so I noticed on one of the conversations that you had with Rob, you were talking about anti-theism. I'm an anti-theist.
Interesting.
But you got the idea a little bit wrong, because an anti-theist is someone who wants to get rid of religion. But I don't want to get rid of it through legislation. I want to get rid of it through education. And that is working. I mean, we see that.
It's definitely education is the best bulwark that we have against like superstition and bad and irrational, or not bad beliefs, but like irrational or unhelpful or dangerous beliefs, right? And it's the best bulwark that we have against religiosity. I call myself an apatheist, right? Because the question of whether or not a God exists isn't important to me. If a God exists, so what? The question is whether or not we should worship that God, and that speaks to what I think sort of the goal of humanity should be, and it should be to treat each other with decency and respect. And something that doesn't want to treat us with decency and respect shouldn't be worshipped.
No, I fully agree.
And I don't have a problem with religious people. I have many religious friends. That sounds so bad.
No, it doesn't.
And I'm not scared of it, right?
No, I think I told you.
I don't want to necessarily get rid of it. I just don't want it to affect. I want it to be a personal thing. I just want you to keep it to yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, and don't let it involve your politics or anything like that, where it starts affecting other people.
Right.
My best friend is a Christian. He's never ever tried to convert me to Christianity. Not even once. Not even before he knew that I was an atheist.
That's good.
So.
It should be a private thing. These are not things that need to infect other parts of social interaction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What you believe about what happens after we die, or whether or not there's somebody looking out for you.
But I do have a problem with if you believe things that are demonstrably not true, and you teach your kids that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm having a problem.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't lie to your kids, and if you're going to tell your kids lies, then I'm going to have a problem with that.
My position on that is show them all of the options, right? I think the one thing that I will always criticize Christians about is that they want their option to be presented to everybody, but they don't want anyone else's position to be presented to anybody.
And worse, they don't want kids to think about it.
Yeah. Anyone, I love this.
But that's not even the fault of the religious people. That is the fault of the structure. The people who are standing in front of them in the church, because they're taught from a very young age. You need to believe this
isolationist socialization,
the guy who's talking to you in a church, that's the guy who holds the wisdom, and you need to believe him. Period. You don't question him.
You don't listen to what other people say.
Yes, because if other people say something else, then it's by definition a lie, and that's the thing that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I've had a few conversations with.
Give everybody a fair shake, man. Let everybody show what they've got, and then make a decision, right? But the whole we don't want to teach them about false religions. No, dude, you have to teach them about all religions, or you teach them about none of them.
Yes,
you know,
and you need to give them the tools to check on
Yeah.
claims.
Yeah.
I talked to Robbie a couple of times, and what I told him is, do not believe what I tell you, but listen back to it and then check everything I said. And if I said
Yeah.
something wrong, get back to me and talk about the things that I said wrong and show me where I was wrong. Because that's how
I was listening to
how
one
we
of your
learn.
conversations with him, and you said, "Don't take my word for it." And I'm almost sure that I've said the same thing to Rob. You don't have to take our word for it, man. Like, if you don't believe me, that's great. The data is right there, and you can go look at it, and you can evaluate it for yourself, you know, and become read up and studied on the subject, and you can make your own determination about what you think is true or false, man.
Yeah.
Like, but my biggest thing is that a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to go look at the other explanations.
There's a good reason for that.
Of course,
there's a good reason for that. I met someone on Twitter, and so she and her husband were part of the Ray Comfort
oh my
people.
God.
So they went out with Ray Comfort to several street corners where they preached to people and handed out flyers and stuff like that. For her, having grown up in this kind of religion, this was part of her personality. And when she started doubting, because on the streets they talk to people.
Yeah.
And this is in I think he's in LA. So there's a lot of people in LA that have had a decent education, so they could counter the arguments that they were presented with on the streets. And she thought, why don't we have answers like that? And she started digging into it and started finding out, well, okay, what people tell me in the streets is actually true, whereas I'm being told that it's all a lie. Right. And so she deconverted, lost her entire family, lost her children. She had two young daughters, who, because she had to leave her husband, leave the state, and that meant that he got custody of the kids.
Right.
So, but it was part of her identity. Yeah. And so now you're all by yourself, and now you have to figure out who you are. Yeah. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. That to me, that sounded horrific. And
no, I mean, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine attaching your whole life, your identity, your personhood to something so.
It was their entire life, at least for her. Her husband had a job, but the only thing when she got out was working for the church and talking to people and trying to convince people of the things that Ray Comfort preaches.
Right.
Well, that was her identity. Now
everything. It's
And what do you do now?
Yeah.
I mean,
when it's all gone, right?
And you find out that you've been lied to.
Yeah. That's the real horror of it, man. Like the human cost.
Yeah, and that's the part that keeps a lot of people not wanting to investigate. So I'm also friends with Hovin's third ex-wife.
Whoa.
So
what's up with that? Wait, hold on. He's been divorced 3 times?
Yes, he's on his 4th wife now.
That's a little insane.
So
that's a little insane.
Strictly speaking, he had one wife. He divorced him, and so the others were common law marriages. So there's no need for divorce. You can just have it annulled by the same preacher who married you, which is quite convenient if it doesn't work out. And your wife, who came into the marriage with $130,000 and agreed to lend it to the ministry, and then you now have weaseled her out of that money because you now say, yeah, that was a donation. That was her life savings. She sold her house in California to go to Kent Hovind, and she wanted to buy houses there as a retirement plan so she could rent those out. And now she doesn't have money anymore. She's pretty much penniless. So
What a horrible thing to do to somebody.
yeah, but she's a really nice woman, and even though we get into heated conversations about evolution and about everything pretty much Kent Hovind preaches, because she still believes all of that.
Does she?
And it is really, really hard to get people like that to make that first step.
Why did she
And
divorce him then? Hold on.
because he weaseled her out of the money, he body slammed her, and he was abusive in more than one ways, as is the thing with all of the wives. Although Joe, her first wife, his first wife,
yeah,
never said that he had physically abused her, but there was an incident where Hovind allegedly shoved her out of the way of an oncoming truck, which left her with an injury to the coccyx, which still to this day is extremely painful for her. And a friend of mine, McKenna Mitchell, made the best documentary about Hovind. So if you want to look that up, this guy did research, and he was meticulous in his research. He also made a documentary about Greg Locke, and we're still talking. I want to publish it, but I don't want it to be. I don't want him not to get all the credit for it, but he has had death threats to his house from people surrounding Greg Locke.
Jeez.
So
this is what I mean, man. Like, and I don't understand what compels somebody to take a religious belief out on somebody else, bro. Like, I had Greg Locke on my show. Yeah.
And during the show, he said, I want to talk to some famous atheists. And so Jackson Wheat, one of the guys that I work with, immediately contacted Aaron Ra and said, hey, we've got a debater for you, Greg Locke. And so we set all of that up. Aaron agreed to do it. I had a trailer that I ran on Twitter and on YouTube several times already. And then, so I had... When he was on my show, I had to go through his secretary, who botched every single time that we were going to have him on, until the last time where he finally stepped in and said, okay, well, we'll do it now. It's not convenient for me, but we'll do it now. So he was in a hotel room somewhere.
Oh.
This woman that I talked to, 2 days before he was going to come on my show and talk to Aaron Ra, his daughter walked into the back room of the church and found Dad with his personal secretary, both not wearing clothes, on the couch. So the whole thing with Arn didn't go through, because now he had to put his ex-wife on a bus out of state, because now things had come out and he needed to get rid of his wife. And the way he did that, the gaslighting involved with all of that is horrific. If you want to watch that, that's on my secondary channel. Going to go for some more. There's an entire interview with Locke's now ex-wife. When that happened, I got in touch with a Christian who got in touch with the people that took her in, and we were able to have a little bit of communication back and forth with his ex-wife, and I have the texts that were sent back and forth between Melissa Locke and Greg Locke. All of that I provided to the documentary, because McKinnon wanted to do a good job, and I said, "Well, I have the texts where he's basically calling her a fat pig, and she cut off her hair out of spite, and she looked horrific now, and stuff like that. That was going on while he cheated on his wife
with a
woman who was married."
It just gets better. It just gets. You can't write this shit. You can't.
No. Have you seen? So when Greg Locke preaches, he has this really weird podium, which is a bunch of sticks holding up the podium.
Yeah.
That he cut that down from a forest where he went to meditate with his wife because it was kind of quiet and secluded. I guess we call it meditating right now. I mean, I meditate a lot, but
okay,
and also
I'm
sometimes in the woods.
Photos of it now. So
but yeah, that he cut that down because he had such a strong bond with that particular place. So he wanted to have that in his church, and he made his podium out of the bush where he was looking at the bush of his new girlfriend, I think.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And for
man-made horrors
reason,
beyond my comprehension, bro. Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension.
For some stupid reason, I always get to talk to people who then make the news. I had a guy on my channel from the UK. 3 or 4 weeks after he came on my show, he was arrested, and he was very against talking about sexuality in schools.
Okay.
So guess what? He was a pedophile. So he was one of the worst so far. Later we got the Duggar kid who worked with
the Duggar family. Is such an insane case study.
He worked with the worst.
Yeah.
People who were making rape videos of kids and actually wasting them at the end of the video. He had that material on his computer.
That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Wow. Oh, hit me with something that's gonna make me laugh, dude. I'm way bummed out. Can we finish this? We can finish
the video.
Yeah. Let's do. I'm wicked bummed.
That's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of fun things coming.
Slavery and oppression and movement into a promised land is because the writers themselves were in their own kind of slavery and oppression, but in Babylon in the 6th century BCE, not in Egypt, hundreds and hundreds of years before that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense. But you love the Bible.
Yeah, I do.
Why? Like if you like go, well, that's not real. He's not a guy.
Yeah.
Why do you love it?
Because it's like the most amazing collection of ancient literature. It's like reading. It's like going into a time capsule. It's like time traveling, and you get to read all about these different sorts of myths and legends. Like, one of the most important myths in the Old Testament Hebrew Bible is the idea that God had to fight a massive sea dragon to create the world. Now, you don't get that in Genesis. You get hints of it in Genesis, but you do get it.
Hang on, what are the hints?
The hints.
What? No, like I'm just curious. Like it's like Ixnay on the Agandre. Like what was it? Like what's?
So one of the hints is on the such and such a day when God was making the world, he made the great sea monsters. And the word that they don't actually do that in the Bible, but the word that they use is the ancient word for this. It's tannin, which is this ancient, mythical, watery, ferocious chaos monster, like a sea dragon. But then we read all about his actual battle with the sea dragon in the book of Isaiah and in the book of Job and in the Psalms. So it's all there. It's just that everyone kind of privileges the beginning of the book because most people get bored by the time they get to like Leviticus and they don't bother reading.
There's just so much admin in Leviticus.
I know, there
it's
is
like
a
this
lot
is
of
what you
admin.
do with mildew.
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
it in a drawer, see
Yeah.
if it grows.
Yeah.
Call the rabbi, burn your house down. Like it's
The detail's important in that kind of thing. Particularly
well, mildew is
yeah.
it still plagues us today. So I've been to Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem, and it's amazing when the places mentioned in the Bible are in front of you. Like I stood in the Garden of Gethsemane, and the fact that these are real places starts to make you feel like this is more true. Why does it become more compelling? Because it's in a place that exists.
Whether you're, an atheist like me or you're religious like other people, the Bible has played such a massive role in our lives, right from when we're kids, that somehow to be in these places, I think you can't but help just feel engaged and excited and curious. And to go somewhere like Jerusalem, where obviously the Bible still matters, because as we know, Jerusalem is still the kind of the heart, the kind of the central place for Judaism, Christianity, and obviously Islam as well. And we know the political tensions, we see it on the news all the time. You can't but help feel impacted.
She's
by
so
that.
right. Jerusalem
now, you've
is
already
like
pointed
a
out a few
bucket
things
list
that
for
weren't
travel,
real
man.
in the Bible.
Yeah.
What
go
was
back
real? Like I believe
to see
the
the
Garden of
history
Eden,
in
you
front
believe
of
was
you,
a
dude.
real place.
Well,
What a
I
trip that
believe
would
it's
be.
based on a real place. It's based on the Jerusalem temple that was supposedly built by Solomon and was destroyed. And we think probably historically it was destroyed by the Babylonians in the 6th century BCE. And the temple itself is meant to be like the dwelling place of the god. And like humans, God wants a nice house and he wants a nice garden. And it's the meeting place between the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. And so it was filled with trees, and it was a very sensory experience going into the temple. There were nice smells of incense, and that's what the story of Eden is based on. It's the idea is that human beings, or a king in this case, was in a very privileged position like that with God. He messes up, he gets expelled from the garden. So he's like thrown out of the temple. And that's when the temple historically is destroyed and the kings of Israel no longer exist.
So, if you were editing the Bible, what would you take out? Is there anything that you'd
New
remove?
Testament? No.
That's pretty controversial. Surely not all of the New Testament.
Okay. Paul. Anything written by St. Paul.
Just all.
Wow.
Of Paul. That's like taking
all
Paul
of
out
the
of the Beatles. He
Pauline
was pretty
literature
important.
gone.
No, because
because it really
Paul wrote a huge amount of the New Testament.
Yeah.
He was by and large the founder of the church.
He is the founder of
So
Christianity.
what have you got against Paul?
He goes on and on and on.
It is a bit like he took everything he wrote. Like I wrote some letters to the
long-winded.
Corinthians. I'll
Yeah,
put that in.
Yeah.
Did the Corinthians ever write back?
We don't know if they did. Maybe. But he's so down on humanity. He's just really kind of like, oh, you humans, you're so bad, you're so sinful. And it's like, oh, come on. We're not that bad. The Hebrew Bible, everyone thinks that the God of the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, is the kind of like vengeful, hateful, angry one who's like kicking ass all the time. And that the God of the New Testament is kind of like, oh, I love you. But it's not like that at all. The God of the New Testament, he's gone. He's like not interested at all in humanity. Like he's not really present in the New Testament. It's all about Jesus.
Because that's the thing. Like early on in the Bible, God rocks up. Like God is literally there, and He goes, "Hey, Abraham, do this. Moses, here's some 10 Commandments.
Exactly.
They'll be useful."
Yeah.
And I mean, He's talking directly to people.
Yeah.
And then it becomes people saying, "Oh, you just missed him. God was here, and He said this." And then by the end of it, it's like, I know a guy who spoke to a dude who saw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Paul started off as a Jew, like Jesus. Jesus was a Jew. I think he'd be spinning in his grave if he knew what's really going on in his name now. He was a Jew. He was a very passionate Jewish man. Like John the Baptist was probably sort of Jesus' initial teacher. And like Jesus kind of then used this breakaway movement. It's kind of like, some pop group like the Beatles, like kind of splitting up, and like John going off with Yoko. It's problematic.
I'm sorry, that is the most controversial thing I've ever heard anyone say in my life, is that the career of Jesus is like John teaming up with Yoko.
It kind of is a bit.
That is extraordinary. But here's the thing. Okay, like you're an atheist.
Yeah.
But you're passionate about the Bible.
Yeah.
But you can understand that people could be quite angry at all of the things that you're saying right now.
People are always angry with me because I'm an atheist, because I'm a woman, because I'm a professor.
So what is harder in your line of work, being an atheist or a woman?
I think being a woman is still harder than being an atheist. Because I'm an atheist, because people can't say to me, because most people in my field, most academics are Christian or Jewish. So I say to them, I haven't got the same emotional investment in these texts as you do, but nonetheless, I still think these texts are really important. They are the absolute bedrock of Western cultural preferences and values.
Yeah.
And so it's important, it's responsible, I think, to critique those ideas and say where do they come from and how kind of representative should this be? How important should these texts be? The Bible is a cultural icon, whether we like it or not, whether we believe in it or not. So that's why it's important to study it. But I think I've got one up on most other scholars because I'm not invested in it. It's not going to, my soul's not going to hell or to heaven because I don't believe in a soul and I don't believe in hell and I don't believe in.
Do you ever worry that you might hurt people by saying what you think is the factual truth about the Bible?
No, because I don't think, I'm not like some kind of Richard Dawkins figure, who's obviously the most famous atheist in the world, probably. Like he's
the John Lennon of atheism. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But he's rude to people. He's unkind to people, I think, and he tells people that they're stupid. I don't think that people that have faith or belief are stupid at all. That's their choice, and I recognise that there are lots of different ways of being in the world. So at the same time, so I try and be polite to people. I'll say what I think. I'll say, yeah, well, I don't think Moses existed. Other scholars would disagree with me. A lot of scholars would agree with me. But I don't want to be rude about it. So I respect other people because I'm a human being and I like people. You believe what you want to believe. That's completely fine. But your Bible belongs to me as well. You know, it belongs to all of us. It's like had this huge impact globally. So it's not just your text, it's mine as well. So I've got every right to study it.
These books shape the world more than any other books have ever done. How do you think we're using them wrong?
Well, our gender politics for a start.
Politics in general.
Biblically based. The idea that there are just two genders, that they are made by God and in the image of God. That equally, that idea has massively damaged the environment because human beings think that they're like the best, and that they're at the top of.
We are the best. We are at the top.
Creation, and therefore that they can go around.
Not because we are acts of creation, but because we have
resources and
we have successfully conquered nature.
Sexism,
and I think that makes
patriarchy. Us. And environmental damage that the Bible's responsible for.
I am an anthroposupremacist, bro. Humans above everything.
Okay, because
no more brother wars.
Toy. All right. So here's the ark, right?
Yeah.
There's the ark there. That's Noah.
That's cute.
Can I start straight away? White dude.
Right.
Yeah.
So Noah was not white.
Weird.
No.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
So, okay. Well, I think that raises an obvious question about the elephants. So it's two elephants. There we go, 2 by 2. We have 2 rhino, a bit more textbook, 2 by 2, and this is the big one. We have 2 lions, 2 by 2.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how successful would Noah have been repopulating the world with 2 male lions?
Yeah.
Does that say that this is historically inaccurate or Noah was a bit sketchy on animal husbandry?
Either he was sketchy or he didn't really get the right instructions from God. I'd be more inclined to blame God.
God was very busy. He's going, look, I'm busy making a flood, grab some lions. I don't have time to do everything.
This is why I love the Bible, honestly.
Well, we loved having you here to talk about it. Thank you so much for your time. Would you please thank Francesca Stavrokopoulou?
What an amazing interview.
Thank you so much.
So can she carry that energy? Wow. She's great at engaging. That's amazing.
Yes.
I am 100% going to watch this documentary. I wish I could get Rob to watch it with me. I don't know that he would want to. Which is a shame. But I will definitely be watching this tonight. And I will see if I can find. You said, was it the Greg Locke documentary that isn't out yet?
No, Kent Hovind. The Greg Locke
one.
The Greg Locke one is still shelved.
Okay.
We need to figure out. Yeah, we need to figure out how we can do this because I mean I know how thorough McKinnon is when he does his research.
Yeah.
So and the fact that Greg Locke sent people over with death threats, I think McKinnon was onto something that he shouldn't have been on too.
Shit, dude.
So
I mean, damn, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, if you dive into this, there's so many.
Oh man, I kind of want to now. You're making it sound kind of fucking intense, man.
But
There's some real stakes here. I'm digging the drama. That's crazy.
Yeah, but people's lives get destroyed. I mean,
Yeah.
if you see the shit that Kent Hovind has pulled with people who came to his Dinosaur Adventureland, worked for free, because yeah, Dinosaur Adventureland is free. Yeah, after 2 days they'll give you a hammer, as Hovind says, they'll put you to work, and you'll be working from early in the morning until late at night.
Wow.
And so things aren't always as they seem. And there's some horrific stuff going on. The guy I'm friends with has a daughter who was, I think, 9 or 10 at the time. And she gave Hovind massages in his bedroom.
No!
So, without Dad knowing about this. He only found this out after he left.
No.
So,
What?
and we're talking about a guy. You can say whatever you want. He's still a young Earth creationist. He's coming around to accepting evolution because we talk to him a lot, and his co-host is an atheist too, and she won't let off on anything he says that isn't true. So, but one thing I do know, he's a responsible dad. He's a single dad. His wife has passed away, so he's raising his daughter on his own. He's a vet. He's got PTSD from what he went through, but he's doing a damn good job raising his daughter. So
That's good, man.
yeah, I mean, there are people who encountered the most horrific things and come away with a good intentions, and so he's one of them. When he and I met, he had a YouTube channel where he had Kent Hovind on blast 24/7.
Wow.
Everything he could find, everything he could dig up, everything people weren't supposed to know, he found out and put on his channel, and that was going 24/7. So
Holy shit, man.
but yeah.
Wow.
But you'll get, if you're going to get into stuff like this, you're going to meet people like that, and you're going to find out things where.
Oh man, you're making it sound a little intense, man.
But it is.
I thought it was
intense.
just people yelling at each other on the internet, dude. I didn't know there was this much going on. Now I feel kind of invested.
Yeah.
Oh, this is bad.
You're going to. So,
am I going to lose my faith in humanity, Peter, if I start doing?
No. When I got into this, that was Kent Hovind's doing. I saw a video of Kent Hovind, and that's where I got to. Okay, I need to do something, and I'm going to see if I can get.
Literally the reason I did the video on Rob. No.
So I chose the name. I'm gonna go for it because that was basically what I was going to do. And after tonight, you're going to realize that you picked a channel name. You're going to hear about things where you're going to tear your hair out.
No!
Just saying.
You said it.
I said it.
Oh no! You've spoken it into existence.
Yes.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no! Why would you do that?
Arn thought you had a pretty good name after you had a chat that was pulled up and read on the show, and after that I said, hey, I know that guy actually. So.
Oh man. That's it's really crazy. I'm still kind of not over it, dude. Like I grew up watching Iron Raw. I like he's the OG, man. He's the guy who did it before and he did it right. He was like direct and to the point. No bullshit. Like this is what it is.
And and he only says things that he can actually prove are true.
Yeah. Like I appreciated like Seth Andrews' like artistry, right? Of just sort of like the presentability, right? And I appreciate Matt Dillahunty sort of being a human being about it, right? And everybody's got their like shtick, which is really, really cool. But then Aaron was just like, no frills, no breaks, no bullshit. It's just all the fucking way or none at all. And you're not going to get a fucking minute to rest with him.
No, and I know for a fact
that so fucking deep.
I know for a fact that if his wife wants to watch a movie with him, that has to be planned because of time constraints. He's that hardworking, and he's also the only one that I know of that is trying to do something for humanity, because he's still running the Phylogeny Project, which is going to be an online encyclopedia of all life that has ever existed on the evolutionary tree of life.
Like just like diagramming it all out?
Yes.
Wow.
If you watched Arn, you know that he would have these diagrams where it looked like it was computer folders, and he would click on it and then it would open, and then you got from this animal evolved into these two other animals or three other animals, and then you would click through those folders. That was actually his idea in order to make it visible for people. He didn't have that on his computer. That was just
it out. I had no idea he was working on this. I grew up watching a lot of his lectures.
Yeah.
I was
so
like watching
it's
him
still not
publicly.
It's not available to the public yet. They're working on to have at least part of the front end so people can see.
Wow.
I've had a link for a while, and then they crashed the database again because you keep adding animals, and it's not adding animals, but it's an animal. It's a description. It's what did the animal eat? Where did it live? What was the environment?
You're writing it into it's a Wikipedia for every species ever documented.
Yes, and then finding artists who can make an artist rendering that is close.
There's so much fucking data that you have to keep track of and organize, and
exactly
set links between. I can't imagine the linking. Oh my god!
And then you've got, because every single time when they find a new animal, sometimes you get a shift.
Yeah.
Because now you start figuring out, okay, so this wasn't the ancestor of that animal, but there's another animal we just found, and it's a whole complete new lineage. So now you have to shift the entire lineage to the new animal that was found. So this is a shitload of work.
Yeah.
And so the guy who's on Aaron's Bible show, Isaac, he's one of the people working on it. He's one of the guys who does the programming for the whole thing. But they keep running out of funds because it needs to be funded. This is
it's expensive
project.
Work.
Yeah, when it's done, it'll have cost millions already.
Jeez, man.
So, and that's what he is doing. That's to be his legacy to the world.
Fuck yeah.
And
fuck yeah.
Two people have tried and failed, and Arndt is destined to not fail and to at least get this done.
If anybody can do it, he can, man. Nobody. Yeah. I don't think that anybody else on Earth has the determination necessary. I think that if there's anything, he's determined.
Yes.
About everything he does.
And the weird thing is, he will still go on people's channel. So it doesn't matter how many followers or subscribers you have, if you can have a good conversation.
Yeah.
I had him on the Christian that I mentioned from Dinosaur Adventureland. I had him on his channel talking about evolution with another Christian who just wanted to learn, who actually wanted to learn. And I told him up front, so Arn is going to set aside about an hour. if he sticks around longer than an hour, he's enjoying himself. And he was there for, I think, an hour and a half. Then he had to go because he had an engagement he couldn't do any longer. If he didn't have that engagement, he would probably have gone on to 2 hours talking about evolution because he had fun. He was respected by 2 Christians. One of them, former Dinosaur Adventureland. That was the guy whose channel he was on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was treated with respect, and he was questioned, and that's what he likes. People need to ask him questions so he can explain things.
Right.
And so, but yeah, the guy has, back then he had, I think, 400 subscribers. So absolutely nothing.
Right.
But Arn will still make time for people like that. Just go on the channel and talk.
I like that. That's the mark of a true gentleman, man.
Yes.
Gentleman and a scholar. What an amazing way to interact with people, man. Just who gives first, it's all numbers on a screen, man. Let's just talk. I like that.
My first interaction with Arn was horrific.
What do you mean?
So the guy that I work with, who's also a close friend now, Jackson Wheat, he's an evolutionary biologist. He's working on his PhD. And I met him through another friend on Twitter who said, hey, I found this guy who's really interesting and he can talk. And so you need to meet him. So we kind of pushed Jackson on everyone else's channel so people could meet him. And so now he writes scripts for, I don't know if you've heard of him, Professor Dave, from the channel Professor Dave Explains.
What?
Every single time there's something about evolution, that script comes from Jackson Wheat.
That's cool, man.
So
I was just watching a Professor Dave video today, trying to educate myself on radiometric dating.
The whole shit that happened with James Tour, that was basically all of that was Jackson's material.
Oh my god, I saw that.
But so when we were up and coming YouTubers that had 105 subscribers, I think, back then. So some idiot contacted Jackson and said, I want to debate Arn Ra on intelligent design. And he called himself Mr. Intelligent Design. And Jackson, being completely new, said, okay, I'll make that happen. And so Jackson contacted Arn, and Arn said, okay, what does this guy want to talk about? You know, he wrote several scientific books about intelligent design. That's all Jackson knew. And he hadn't checked the guy out.
Yeah.
And then Arn said, okay, I'll do it. And then Jackson shit his pants because he had never moderated a debate, let alone with Arn Ra. So Jackson DM'd me and said, can you help me? Because I don't know how to moderate a debate. And I just agreed to moderate the debate. Can you help me moderate? I said, sure. And so Jackson filled me in. And at some point, I said to Jackson, do you know this guy? And Jackson said, I've never heard of him before. So we looked him up. And I kid you not, this has to be the biggest idiot on the planet Earth. And we had set Arn up to debate this guy who had absolutely no clue what he was talking about. He had written books that nobody had bought because he self-published, and nobody had bought a book. And the people who had bought a book, the few people, the handful of people who bought a book, said it was a waste of their money because the books didn't even make sense. And he kept repeating himself in different books. So he published a new... He called himself Mr. ID. His name is His name is Edgar, and he comes from, I think it was the Philippines or something.
Oh.
So he has this terrible accent as well.
Okay. Wow.
And so we realized we're going to have Arn talk to a guy
A
who
complete
proves
nobody.
things. It's coming. It's coming. Hold on. He proved intelligent design with sheets of oh damn, how do you call them, the paper towels and an
What?
egg. Yeah,
What?
that's what we thought. What
do you
So he
mean with
put-
paper towels and eggs? What?
he put a paper towel in a frame, and he dropped an egg on it, and it went straight through the paper. And so he put 2 sheets on it, and it would still went straight through, and 3 sheets. And so he came to the conclusion that 9 sheets, or as he called it in his dialects, 9 shits of paper. And then it would hold the egg. And so this was intelligent design. I still, to this day, have no clue what this has to do with biology, with abiogenesis, but
Dude, galaxy brain.
And- and we had
Oh my
Arn,
god. This man is
had
on
Arn
a higher
set up-
plane of understanding. 9
Yes.
sheets of paper holds the egg. Proof of intelligent design. We will
But
never
we had
match
set
this level
Arn
of
up
genius.
to debate this guy. So can you
What an
believe
honor
that
for
now
Arn
we
to be
both
in presence of such a genius.
we both shit our pants, and so we said, what are we going to do? Because we can't. We're going to make fools of ourselves, hooking Arn up with this idiot.
Yeah.
So we found all the courage that we had, and we said, Arn, we need to talk to you. This was 2 days before he was going to debate this guy. So we whipped out a Hangout, and back then on Google Hangouts, and Arn joined, and we said, well, Arn, we have to confess something. We hadn't checked this guy out, and he's a moron. He's an idiot. He's going to be the dumbest person you've ever talked to. And Arn said, well, listen, have you done anything to promote this debate? And I said, yes, we've been promoting this for 2 weeks on Twitter every single day. And Arn said, okay, and I gave my word that I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there. So that's when
Wow.
Arn gained my respect, because he said, I'm a man on my word. I said, yes.
Yeah.
I was dumb enough not to ask you who this guy was. Apparently you guys are new at this, so I can't even blame you guys for not doing it. But he debated the guy. During the opening statement, Arn got up and started cleaning his room. That's how interested he was in his opening statement. Now we can laugh about it, but back then, Jackson and I mean, honestly, I'd say I shit my pants, but I was close to it at that point, because I thought, oh man, this is going to be the dumbest. We're going to be run out of atheist town after this, because how on earth do you set this up?
Yeah.
But yeah, in hindsight, Arn still had a lot of fun trashing the guy. And the guy had a brief moment on YouTube where he went on all the channels, but you can look it up. Arn Ra, Mr. ID. It's on Jackson Weed's channel.
Intelligent design. Oh no!
And there's an after show. There's an after show to that as well, where he comes on and talks to us about the whole stupid shit.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah. So that's how my relationship with Arn started, and I made sure that I wasn't tagging him on Twitter. I didn't show up in his side chats. I just wanted to hide. I mean,
Oh my
and
god.
Jackson felt the same.
That's intense, man.
And now Jackson writes scripts for Arn at some point, or even reads them out on Arn's videos.
That's so cool, dude.
So
I love how the internet brings people together.
yeah,
That's so
and
cool.
that's how I met PZ Myers, another really cool dude who is ostracized by the atheist community because he took down Carrier, and then later basically broke down the atheist experience when the whole trans shit happened. He kicked them out off of his blog because they had when you had the atheist experience, you could go on a blog and then talk about the episode.
Yeah.
And that was PZ Myers' blog. And when the whole trans thing happened, he said, "I'm not going to have that on my shit. You
What,
go
with
find
Matt?
somewhere else." Yeah.
The thing, are you fucking serious?
He announced that on my show. That happened on the day that he was going to be on our channel. And I said, "Can we talk about that?" He said, "Sure. I talk about everything. I don't care. I mean, people don't like me anyway, so we can talk about anything." And I love PZ Myers because if you look at his lectures that he used to do on atheist conventions, those are brilliant. The guy has a great sense of humor. And I met him on Jackson's channel, got to ask him one question, and 2 weeks later, Jackson DM'd me and said, "Hey, PZ wants to have you on your channel." Me? Why? Well, Eric Hovind has brought out this new movie, and it's Genesis History. I think it's Genesis Paradise Lost.
Okay.
And we're going to review it. I said, "Are you serious? I'm in the Netherlands. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen parts of the movie. I haven't seen anything." And PZ said, "Well, but we can tell you what we saw, and then you can talk about that, can't you?" And I thought, I'm a dumbass from the Netherlands, and this is a university professor who wants. Okay, I'll come on. I mean,
yeah, fuck it. Why not, right?
I'll look like an idiot, but I'm going to be on PZ Myers' channel, so yeah, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, man. I mean, when the door opens, step in, bro. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, and recently some idiot came to me with a paper where apparently prayer cured blindness.
Oh.
And I looked at that paper, and to me it looked just sketchy because there was no. It didn't look like a scientific paper. And I thought I need help because it did look like it was published on a credible site. So I DM'd PZ and I said, "I got a paper that people wanted me to look at. I think it's completely bogus and I think it's fake, but it is published on in a scientific journal." And he said, "Send it over to me. I'll have a look at it." And then he wrote a thing on his blog, and what I didn't notice, but this was weeks later when I started giving out the link to that part because the guy didn't want to talk to me about the paper anymore. Now I had PZ look at it, and PZ dug everything up. It wasn't a scientific journal. It was a bogus journal. It was a bogus paper. And the conclusion wasn't even that prayer healed the woman from blindness. So everything they claimed was wrong. And then people started DMing me, "Have you read the thing that PZ wrote?" And I said, "Yes, I sent you the link, didn't I?" And it said, "Did you see that when in the opening thing where he says, 'A friend of mine sent me a paper'?" And I said, "Yes, I was really honored by that. Did you know that the word friend is a link?" And I said, that I didn't notice that. So if you click on the link, you go to my Twitter page.
Oh, shit!
Damn.
Whoa!
And so
what a cool thing
I
to
looked up.
do, man.
I looked up the blog, and the blog in the US is rated as the best scientific blog run by a scientist. That now has a link to my Twitter account.
Oh,
And for that, I mean,
hell yeah, dude.
That's priceless.
That's awesome.
I didn't even ask for it. So, I mean, the people that I've come across, all of them are so incredibly cool. And so approachable, and yeah, I haven't
Hell yeah,
met
man.
an asshole yet. Although maybe Dillahunty, because I'm not allowed to follow him on Twitter anymore.
Oh.
I mean, it happens.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess it happens. There's all kinds.
And I was
right?
on the Atheist Experience twice,
Nice,
calling
man.
in, and both times with Matt and Tracy, because those people were my heroes, especially Tracy.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah,
Well, Peter, we've been going for like 2.5 hours now.
yeah.
I'm starting to
go.
fall asleep.
I
I can't imagine how you're doing.
No, I can't go to sleep anymore
Oh,
because it's 6 a.m. now, and I have to get up at 7 because
that's rough.
our central heating broke,
Oh,
and they're sending over a mechanic, and he's going to be here around 8 o'clock. So,
jeez, man.
so
Well, I hope the day goes well for you, regardless.
I'm
Even
going
without
to
any-
crash. I'm going to crash, I think, at some point during the day and just
Oh.
fall over and sleep.
Well, I hope you make it to the bed. It's been amazing talking with you, dude.
If not, I have a very comfortable couch because I get banned from the bed a lot because of my practical jokes.
Oh. He's just like me for real.
Yeah, I mean, you can't live with two blondes and have practical jokes. That's you can't. And my problem is that I have two very intelligent blonde women who outsmart me at times. So.
Yeah, well, it takes the best, you know. It happens to all of us, and it takes good people. So that means you found good people.
And
it's
I'm
good
just
to find
an obnoxious. Yeah, and I'm just an obnoxious dick at times, and I still get away with it, which to me is just brilliant. I mean, they get back at me in different ways.
Of course.
I get my punishment. So
that's good. That's good.
We
wouldn't want you to be getting away with it
now. No. But then it's no fun, right? I mean, if they just take it and continue doing what they do, then there's no fun for me. So.
Such a fucking character, Peter. I love you. You're great.
Yeah.
You take it easy, man. Have a good day, I guess.
Yeah.
What's up?
One more thing. If you mentioned earlier about doing streaming, and if there's anything that I can help you with, don't be afraid to ask.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the streaming right now. It was just kind of like a spontaneous thing with Rob because we didn't get to finish the conversation yesterday, and I don't think we finished the conversation today, to be honest. But I don't want to push him. I don't want to push him.
No problem. So, I'll stick around until you end the show because I have something I want you to listen to.
Okay, hold on.
Do that on air.
Yeah.
So, I have to have permission first.
All right, hold on.